Blog Talk Radio.
Yes. Shalom, Haverim, shalom. Yes, I give apologies, even though some things will be on I regarding the Monday podcast. Some technicals here and there. Today's daily psalm is very, very interesting. But firstly, foremostly, like to kind of connect the dots. We had Psalm 120 previous light. Here we have Psalm 68 now. We're still trying to work out some of the StreamYard technicals. That was part of what happened with the change in the sound and the interruptions that we got near the fulfillment of the Monday podcast. So here we're at Tuesday. If y'all understand, I said Wednesday. That was a typo. Forgive I. But here, moving on with an upward. Today's daily psalm is Psalm 68. First and foremost, we're going to connect a little bit with the previous psalm here on the podcast. We are at the 16th sabbatical study, Shalach. Some say let go. Actually, Shalach in the Hebrew means to send. Today's daily psalm, according to the royal order, Psalm 68, is all about the tribe post-Exodus, and it reflects enough of the Exodus. Very, very important psalm, Psalm 68. Going to ride up, hopefully have a full. Yes, I'm going to testify.
Psalm 82.
מזמור פבט, מזמור לאסף,
God standeth in the congregation of the mighty.
אלוהים ניצב בעדת אל.
He judgeth among the gods.
בקרב אלוהים ישפוט.
How long will ye judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? Selah. Defend the poor and fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and needy. Deliver the poor and needy. Rid them out of the hand of the wicked. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. But ye shall die like men, and fall like one of the princes. Arise, O God, judge the earth, for thou shalt inherit all nations.
The evening psalm right here, Psalm 82. Here, the Rhema tune, Ras Shiloh, rights of the poor. Yes, sir.
Rastafari, Holy Emmanuel, Jamaica, Marcus, oh yes, Rasta. I come to defend the rights of the poor. For the oppression of the poor have I arised. And I come to defend the rights of the poor. For the oppression of the poor have I arised. Listen! I come to judge all your judges. Behold, I come to teach all teachers. Dismantling all of their false leaders. Liberating all Africans. That's Rasta only mission. Liberating all Africans. That is Rasta mission. So tell them justice. This is judgment on Babylon. Oh yeah, Rasta come to defend the rights of the poor. For the oppression of the poor have I arising. Rasta come to defend the rights of the poor. For the oppression of the poor have I arise. Listen, they tried to kill the father, and they could not slay the son. They tried to destroy Mama Africa, the foundation of creation. Oh yes, the foundation of creation. Oh yeah. I come to defend the rights of the poor. For the oppression of the poor have I arised. Rasta come to defend the rights of the poor. For the oppression of the poor have I arised. Listen, I come to judge all your judges. Behold, I come to teach all teachers. Man killing all of their false leaders. Liberating all Africans. A Shiloh holy only mission. Liberating all Africans. That is Rasta mission. So tell them this is judgment on Babylon. Where Rasta comes to defend the rights of the poor. For the oppression of the poor have I arised. I come to defend the rights of the poor.
Defend the rights of the poor. Subject and the theme of Psalm 82. Psalm 82, the evening psalm for the third day, aka for the Tuesday. Rain tune right there, Shiloh, right to the poor. Psalm 82, evening psalm for the third day, Wednesday, according to royal order, Ethiopian Hebrews after the order of Melchizedek. Psalm 82, Declaration of Rights, the Abyssinian.
temptation. Fussing and fighting among us. Nothing to achieve this way. It's for southern everlasting. Get up and fight for your rights, my brother. Get up and fight for your rights, my sister. Get up and fight for your rights, my brother. Get up and fight for your rights, my sister. Get up and fight for your rights, my brother.
Get up, get up, get up. Get up, get up, get up. Get up, stand up.
Get up, keep on stopping on. Give up the fight. Get up, keep on stopping on. Give up the fight.
Testify here, Testify Tuesday podcast. So the Monday podcast, we were touching on Psalm 120. Psalm 120, the full of Midrash was not disseminated, so we're going to catch it right here to remind one. Psalm 120, the previous daily Psalm, today's daily Psalm 68. Going to ride up with it as well. Here, Psalm 120, a reminder
Psalm
again,
120.
King James
In my
Version.
distress I cried unto the Lord, and he heard me. Deliver my soul, O Lord, from lying lips and from a deceitful tongue. What shall be given unto thee, or what shall be done unto thee, thou false tongue? Sharp arrows of the mighty with coals of juniper. Woe is me that I sojourn in Mesech, that I dwell in the tents of Kedar. My soul hath long dwelt with him that hateth peace. I am for peace, but when I speak, they are for war. War, 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 war.
So here from the previous, because technological difficulties right here, there's spiritual technological warfare against the ministry of His Majesty. Going to write out the full of fold.
Holding this thing together, work it out, we're all in this thing together, work it out.
In my distress, I call to the Lord. Deliver my soul, O Lord, from lying lips and from a deceitful tongue. Here. Today's song is more Kof Kaf, the Aleph, and the base verse. Il Yahuwah Batsaratah Li Karati Wayatnei Yahuwah Hatilah Nash Ni Batashakar Ni Lashot the B'nai Yisrael, the sons, the children of Israel, said to HaKadosh, Baruch to the Holy One, sanctify the set apart one, the Isla one, Baruch Hu. Blessed be He, even as thou, the I, hast delivered, I livered us, I and I, from all kinds of distress and anxieties and tight, difficult situations. Deliver us, I and I, from this one. And we, and I shall have no other distress. For lying lips, Sifat Sheker, in them is our distress. Hence, here it is said, deliver my soul. Oh, Yahuwah, Jehovah, he from lying lips. Yahuwah, Hatilah, Nashi, Mi Sifat Sheker. Of all the organs of a man's body, some are fixed in place and some have freedom of movement. His feet make him free to come and go. His hands make it possible for him to give and take. Only the tongue is neither fixed nor free. Being set inside, it is isolated and hemmed in. Being set inside, it is isolated and hemmed in. And yet the sun can smite the great and the small, the near and the far. It could smite all the more fatally if it were outside a man's mind, or if like some other part it could give and take, or if like the sea it were free to come and go. And here, Midrash note on this section right here. Compare with the previous Midrash, the previous study on Psalm 52, the 6th parak, the 6th section, 52.6. What shall it profit thee, or what shall be added to thee, thou false tongue? Here, the Gimel, the Gamel verse. What shall it profit thee, or what shall be added to thee, thou false tongue? Ma yitain lika, ma yosilak lashon remiya. What shall thy falsehood profit thee, or what good can it do thee? Can it do thee I? Ma yitain lika, ma yosilak lashon remiya. The tongue, sin, asa, but not for its own advantage. The tongue, the lashon, the tongue sins, the asa, falls short, miss the mark, but not for its own advantage. Hakadosh, the Holy One, Baruch Hu, blessed be He, says to lashon, says to the tongue. When a thief steals, he steals to eat. Though it is written even in Shemot, in Exodus, thou shalt not steal. Lo tignob, lo, not tignob, to steal. Lo tignob. A thief will steal for the need of the moment. As it is said even in the Mashal, the Mishlei Shlomo, the Proverbs of Solomon, Proverbs chapter 6, verse 30. Men do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy his soul when he is hungry. Men do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy his soul when he is hungry. Lo yavuzua la ganav kia yigno li maleya nafsho kia yirav. Men do not despise a thief. Lo yavuzu la ganav. Lo yabuzu la ganav. If he steal, kia yignoba. If he steal, lit male nafsho, to satisfy, to fill his soul. Lit male nafsho. When he is hungry. Ki yirav. Lo yabuzu la ganab kia yignoba lit male nafsho kia yirav. Though it is written, thou shalt not commit adultery, even in Shemot, in Exodus chapter 20, verse 13. Lo tinaf, thou shalt not commit adultery. Lo tinaf. A man will commit adultery and for the moment satisfy his appetite, as is said also in Shemot, as is said also in the Mishlei Shlomo, the Mashal of Solomon, Proverbs 6:32, as it said, he that committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. So, a man will commit adultery and for the moment satisfy his appetite. As is said in the Proverbs 6:32, he that committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. Noefa isha chitzar le. Mashachita nafsho hu atena. He that committeth adultery with a woman, Noe isha, lacketh understanding. Chitzar le. He doeth it that would destroy his own soul. Mashachit, nafsho, destruction, destroy, nafsho, his psyche, earth, his soul. Hu, he, ya'isena, noefisha, chesar leib. Mashachita nafsho, hu, ya'isena. Though the adulterer destroys his own soul, his own psyche, nafsho, yet for the moment he satisfies his lust. But thou, O tongue, what good hast thou done thyself by thy slaying? I shall tell thee, O evil tongue, how I am going to act towards thee, how I am going to act towards the earth, even as thou didst act towards the world from the beginning, from Bereshit. As a serpent, thou spokest evil to Adam, so shall I act towards thee. Thou wast also the serpent tongue of the Midbar, of the wilderness, when, as it is written even in Bamidbar, in Numbers chapter 21, verse 5, the people spoke against God and against Moses. The people spoke against God and against Moshe, against Moses. Waidaber ha'am Elohim hu Moshe, and the people spoke against Elohim and against Moshe. Waidaber ha'am Elohim hu Moshe. And how did Adonai act towards them? The Lord sent fiery serpents among the people. Even in the next verse, Bamidbar, Numbers chapter 21, verse 6, the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people. Waishalach Yahweh ba'ama eitaha nechashim hasharafi, and he who be Yahweh Jehovah sent. Waishalach Yahweh among the people, upon the people, ba'am eitaha nechashim hasharafi, sent among the people fiery serpents. Ha-nechashi ha-serafi. Why nechashim? Why serpents? Because it was a serpent that spoke evil, as is said even in Psalm 140, Hebrew, the 4th verse. They have sharpened their tongues like a serpent. Viper's venom is under their lips. They have sharpened them tongues like a serpent. Viper's venom is under them lips. Shanua lishonam kamo nahasha khamata akhshuba tahata sifatem. Shanu, they sharpening lishon tongue their tongue lishonam. Shanu lishonam kamo like nahash, like a serpent. Kamo nahash. Chemat venom, poison. Chemat akshu of vipers. Chemata akshuba. Tahat under sifatem, under their lips. Selah, forever. And so I made those evil tongues, B'nai Yisrael, those evil tongues, children of Yisrael, into the dust, that I have decreed for Hanachash, for the serpent, as it is written even in Bereshit, Genesis chapter 3, verse 14, dust shalt thou eat, with afar tokal, and dust with an afar, with afar tokal, thou shalt eat, toakal, with afar tokal. Here, Midrash notes on with afar tokal, and dust thou shalt eat. The people bitten by the serpent died, and thus figuratively, figure of speech, figuratively became dust. And another one gone, another one biting the dust. What shall it profit thee, or what shall be added to thee, thou full tongue? Ma yiteen leka umma yosif lak lashon remiya. What shall it profit thee? Ma yitena leka, or what shall be added? What shall be added to thee, to the eye? Uma yosi lak, thou false tongue. Lashon Remiya. Here today's psalm is more off kaf. Psalm 120 here, the Gimel, the Gamel, the third verse. The evil tongue is called triple slaying. The evil tongue is called triple slaying. Here, Midrash note on triple slaying, literally the third. Triple slaying, the third slaying. The evil tongue is called triple slaying. Lamaze. Why? Because it slays three. The one who owns it, the one who listens to it, and the one of whom it speaks. And so you find in the story of Doeg, that it slew three. It slew Doeg, dog himself, for he had no portion in the Olam Haba, in the world to come. It slew Ahimelech HaKohen, Ahimelech the priest, for it is said even in 1 Samuel chapter 22 verse 19, and know the city of the priest HaKohanim, Doeg, dog, smote with the edge of the sword. It also slew Saul. It also slew Shaul, who listened to it and accepted its words. For it is said, so Saul died, and his three. And here, Midrash note, Padua offers in emendation a more appropriate proof text, namely 1 Chronicles chapter 10 verse 13 that reads, so Saul died for his transgression that he committed against Yahweh, against Jehovah. The transgression being his eating. The transgression being his eating of slander. And also compares above Midrash on Psalm 12, the second section, the second correct, the Midrash 12.2. And the wicked and the ratchet kingdom, the wicked government, the wicked kingdom slays with its tongue, as does the serpent. For it is said even in Jeremiah chapter 46 verse 22, the voice thereof shall go like a serpent. The voice thereof shall go like a serpent. Kolaha kanahash yelek. Kolaha, the voice thereof, her voice, kanahash, like a serpent, yelek. He shall go. The voice, her voice, like a serpent, he shall go. Kolaha kanahasha yelek. The sound thereof shall go like the serpents. Kolaha kanahash yelek. Ha lashon, the lashon, the tongue, the lisan, the lashon, the tongue is like an arrow. Lama, why? Lama said, why is this? Because if a man takes his sword in hand to slay his fellow, who thereupon pleads with him and begs for mercy, the would-be slayer can repent and return the sword to its sheath. But an arrow, once the would-be slayer aims and lets it go, he cannot bring it back even if he wants to bring it back. Hence here is said, sharp are the arrows of the mighty, like coals of broom. Here, today's psalm is Mordechai, Psalm 120 here, the Dalet, the fourth verse, Hebraically. Chitzei gibor shinunim, aima gachleya retanim, sharp arrows of the mighty. Chitzei gibor, arrows of the mighty. Chitzei gibor shinunim, sharp ones. Chitzei gibor shinunim, aim gachlei retanim, aim gachlei rotanim. Sharp arrows of the might with gachlei, coals of gachlei, ritami, coals of broom, coals of juniper, coals of broom. Chitzeya gibora shuni, aima gachleya ritami. For a broom shrub, once set on fire, makes coals that cannot be extinguished. Once it happened that two men going through the Midbar, the wilderness, sat down under a broom shrub, gathered some fallen twigs of the broom, broiled for themselves what they wanted to eat, and ate their victuals. A year later, when they came back into the Midbar, into the wilderness, to the place of the broom shrub, and found the ashes of the fire that they had kindled, they said, quote, "It is now 12 months since we came through here and ate in this place." Thereupon, they raked up the ashes, and as they walked over them, their feet were burnt by the coals under the ashes, for they were still unextinguished. Hence here, the evil tongue is said to be like coals of broom. Gachleya ritami, coals of broom. As in the verse, sharp are the arrows of the mighty, like coals of broom. Chitzei gibora shemuni, aim gachlei ritami. A wicked, ratchet man, a ratchet man can slay other men with his tongue, like an arrow that a man is unaware of until it reaches him. So is the evil tongue. A man is unaware of it until its arrows from the kingdom of Esau come suddenly upon him. A man remains unaware of it until suddenly a sentence of death or imprisonment is released against him. For while the man is given over to his own affairs, the scribes libel him wherever he may be, and so slay him. And here, Midrash note, rather, this section here, quote, because that man would be living in his own place, while the authorities would send the writ condemning him to his locality, and thus, like this, have him put to death. The man would be living in his village entirely unaware that a death warrant based on someone's accusation is on the way from the administrative center, ordering the village elders to put him to death. Hence, here it is said, sharp are the arrows of the mighty. Chitzei gibor shinunim. Sharp are the arrows of the mighty. Thus, like this, Moses said to Yisrael, even in Psalm 91 and 5, thou shalt not be afraid of the terror by night. Lo tira mi pachad laila. Thou shalt not be afraid. Lo tira. Thou shalt not be afraid. Mi pachad, from the terror, from the dread, the pachad. Mi pachad laila, of the terror, from the terror of the night, of the terror by night. Lo tira mi pachad laila. That is, of the terror of the kingdom of Esau, the kingdom of Esau. And he went on to say, nor of the arrow that flieth by day. Mechetza yauf, your mom. Nor of the arrow, mechet, and from the chet, the arrow, yauf, that flieth, yauf, your mom. Mechetza yauf, your mom. Nor of the arrow that flieth by day, or by days, your mom, days. That is the arrow of the scribes of Esau. Hence, here it is said, sharp are the arrows of the mighty. Chitzei gibor shinunim.
Psalm 120. In my distress I cried unto the Lord, and he heard me. Deliver my soul, O Lord, from lying lips and from a deceitful tongue. What shall be given unto thee, or what shall be done unto thee, thou false tongue? Sharp arrows of the mighty with coals of juniper. Woe is me that I sojourn in Mesech, that I dwell in the tents of Kedar. My soul hath long dwelt with him that hateth peace. I am for peace, but when I speak, they are for war. War, 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 war.
We have fulfilled all. Praise be to Mesken, Xiavi, Mesken, Jesus Christos, Jesus Christos, Jesus Christos, Jesus Christos.
I'm going to testify.
Scatter thou the people that delight in war. Princes shall come out of Egypt. Ethiopia shall soon stretch out her hands unto God. Sing unto God, ye kingdoms of the earth. Oh, sing praises unto the Lord. Selah. Let God arise. Let his enemies be scattered. Let them also that hate him flee before him. As smoke is driven away, so drive them away. As wax melteth before the fire, so let the wicked perish at the presence of God. But let the righteous be glad. Let them rejoice before God. Yea, let them exceedingly rejoice. Sing unto God. Sing praises to his name. Extol him that rideth upon the heavens by his name, Yah, Yah, Yah. And rejoice before him.
Kadamawi.
For whom praises due forever.
Be still, all ye enemies of Jah, and know that the Lord God Jah the Almighty shall wound the head of his enemies. Jah, Rastafari, and his last the first. Oh, let God arise, let his enemies be scattered. Let them also that hate him flee before him. As smoke is driven away, so drive them away. As wax melteth before the fire, so let the wicked perish at the presence of God. But let the righteous be glad. Let them rejoice before God. Yea, let them exceedingly rejoice. Sing unto God. Sing praises to his name. Extol him that rideth on the heavens by his name. Jah, Rastafari, Haile Selassie the first. Our Father, strength and Redeemer, who lives and rules and reigns over all living things. A Father of the fatherless and a judge of the widows is God in his holy habitation. God setteth the solitary in families. He bringeth out those which are bound with chains, but the rebellious dwell in dry land. O God, Rastafari, Selassie, Father, strength and Redeemer, when thou wentest forth before thy people, when thou did march through the wilderness, Selah, the earth shook, the heavens also dropped at the presence of God. But even Sinai itself was moved at the presence of God, Rastafari, Selassie the first, the God of Israel. Though, O God, Rastafari, Selassie, our Father, strength and Redeemer, did send a plentiful rain, whereby thou did confirm thine inheritance when it was weary. Thy congregation hath dwelt therein. Thou, O God, Rastafari, Selassie, our Father, strength and Redeemer, hast prepared of thy goodness for the poor. The Lord God, Jah the Almighty, Haile Selassie, our Father, strength and Redeemer, gave the word. Great was the company of those that published it. Kings of armies did flee apace, and she that carried at home divided the spoil. Though ye have lain among the flocks, yet shall ye be as the wings of a dove covered with silver, and her feathers with yellow gold. When the Almighty God, RasTafari, Selassie, Father, Strength and Redeemer, scattered kings in it, it was white as snow in Salmon. The hill of God, RasTafari, Selassie, Father, Strength and Redeemer, is as the hill of Bashan, and high hill as the hill of Bashan. Why leap ye high hills? This is the hill which God, RasTafari, Selassie the First, desireth to dwell in. Yea, the Lord God, the Almighty, Selassie, Father, Strength and Redeemer, will dwell in it forever. The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord God, the Almighty, Selassie, Father, Strength and Redeemer, is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place. Thou hast ascended on high. Thou hast led captivity captive. Thou hast received gifts from man, yea, for the rebellious also, that the Lord God, the Almighty, Selassie, Father, Strength and Redeemer, might dwell among them. Blessed be the Almighty God, the RasTafari, Selassie, Father, Strength and Redeemer, who daily leadeth us with benefits, even the God of our salvation, Selah. He that is our God is the God of salvation. And unto God, the RasTafari, Selassie, Father, Strength and Redeemer, Lord, belongeth the issues from death. But the Lord God, the Almighty, Selassie, Father, Strength and Redeemer, shall wound the head of his enemies, and hear his scalp of such an one as goeth on still in his trespasses.
Many are calling, no? Many are called, but few are choosing. Many are called, but few are choosing. I was called, and I was chosen. It's funny, but it's true.
Discipleship Radio.
The Lord said, I will bring again from Bashan. I will bring my people again from the depths of the sea, that thy foot may be dipped in the blood of thine enemies, and the tongue of thy dogs in the same. They have seen thy goings, O God, even the goings of my God, my King, in the sanctuary. The singers went before, the players on instruments followed after, among them were the damsels playing with timbrels. Bless ye God in the congregations, even the Lord, from the fountain of Israel. There is little Benjamin with their ruler, the princes of Judah and their council, the princes of Zebulun and the princes of Naphtali. Thy God hath commanded thy strength. Strengthen, O God, that which thou hast wrought for us. Because of thy temple at Jerusalem shall kings bring presents unto thee. Rebuke the company of spearmen, the multitude of the bulls with the calves of the people, till every one submit himself with pieces of silver. Scatter thou the people that delight in war. Princes shall come out of Egypt. Ethiopia shall soon stretch out her hands unto God. Ethiopia shall soon stretch out her hands unto God. Sing unto God, ye kingdoms of the earth. Oh, sing praises unto the Lord. Selah, 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 Selah. To him that rideth upon the heavens of heavens, which were of old, lo, he doth send out his voice, and that a mighty voice. Ascribe ye strength unto God. His excellency is over Israel, and his strength is in the clouds. O God, thou art terrible out of thy holy places. The God of Israel is he that giveth strength and power unto his people. Blessed be God.
Discipleship Radio.
sabbatical study, this I Rastafari sabbatical study for this Shabbat strong, 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 Shabbat strong. And here, Shema Yisrael, here we're at day 3 of this Shabbat, this 7 is strong this week right here. And here we have the third Aliyah here for this 16th sabbatical study for Shabbat Shalach. Shema Yisrael. And here for the Shalishi Aliyah. Here for the third Aliyah, third offering up. Here for the third reading for this Shabbat Bishalach, Sabbath, and he let go. Shabbat Bishalach, Sabbath in letting go. Here, picking up the second book of Moshe, the Hebrew book called Exodus chapter 14. Here at verse 15 for the Shalishi, for the third Ali. Why Yomeri Huam Il Moshe Ma Tit'aka Elai Daver El Bnei Yisrael with Saul. And Jehovah said to Moshe, wherefore, why criest thou the I to me, to I. Wherefore criest thou the I to I. Speak to the Bnei Yisrael, speak to the children, the sons of Yisrael, that they go forward. Why Yomer Yahweh Il Moshe Ma Tit'aka Elai Taber El Bnei Yisrael. And Jehovah said to Moses, why Yomer Yahweh Il Moshe, wherefore, what? Ma Tit'ak, why criest? Wherefore, what criest? Elai, now to I. Ma Tit'aka Elai. What criest thou to I? Ma Tit'aka Elai. What criest to I? Why criest I to I? Daver, speak. Daver il Bnei Yisrael. Speak to the sons of Yisrael. Daver il Bnei Yisrael. Speak to the children of Yisrael. That they go forward. That they go forward. But lift thou up thy rod and stretch out thine hand over the sea and divide it. And the Bnei Yisrael shall go on dry through the midst of the sea. And I, behold, I will harden the hearts of the Mitzrayim, and they shall follow them. And I will get me honor upon Paro, upon Pharaoh, and upon all his hosts, upon his chariots, and upon his horsemen. And the Mitzrayim, and the Egyptians shall know that Ani, that I be Jehovah, when I have gotten I honor upon Paro, upon Pharaoh, upon the great house, upon Pharaoh, upon his chariots, and upon his horsemen, and the angel of Elohim. Why Yisa'ah Malak Ha-Elohim, and the angel of Ha-Elohim, the true God, who went before the camp of Yisrael, removed and went behind them. And the pillar of the cloud went from before their face, their presence, their perception, and stood behind them. ויסע מלאך האלוהים ההולך לפני מחנה ישראל וילך מאחריהם ויסע עמוד הענן מפניהם, ויעמוד מאחריהם, and the melech, the angel Elohim, went before the camp of Israel, removed, and went behind them. Waisa'a malach ha-Elohim ha-holech, and the angel, the malach of ha-Elohim, the true good, the true God, the true Trinity, the Hebrew Trinity, malach ha-Elohim, who went to trod it, ha-holech, who tried it before the camp of Israel, lifnei machne Israel, remove, vayelech me'achreihem, remove, and went behind them, vayisa'a amud anana mipneihem, and the pillar of cloud, the amud anana, removed from before them, and stood behind them. Vaya emoda me achreihem, and it came between the camp of the Mitzrayim and the camp of Israel, and it was a cloud and darkness, but it gave light by night, so that the one came not near the other all the night. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and Yahweh Jehovah caused the sea to go by a strong east all that night, and made the sea dry, and the waters were divided. And the Bnei Israel, the sons of children of Israel, went into the midst of the sea upon the dry, and the waters a wall to them on their right hand and on their left. And the Mitzrayim and the Egyptians pursued and went in after them to the midst of the sea, all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. And it came to pass that in the morning watch, Yahweh Jehovah looked to the host of the Mitzrayim, of the Egyptians, through the pillar of fire and of the cloud, and troubled the host of the Mitzrayim, and took off their chariot wheels, that they drove them heavily, so that the Mitzrayim said, "Let us flee from the face of Israel, for Yahweh Jehovah fighteth for them against the Mitzrayim, for Jehovah fighteth for them against the Egyptians. Vayasar eita ofan mara kevotayo vaya nahegehu vika vedut vayomer Mitzrayim. Anusa mipnei Israel ki Yehovah nilchama lahema bit Mitzrayim, and he took off their chariot wheel. Vayasar eita ofana mara kevotayo, and he took off their chariot wheels. Vayasareta ofana markebotayo, waya nahegehua and he took off the chariot wheels and made them to drive heavily. Vaya nahegehu bikadedut, vayomer Mitzrayim. So the Egyptians, the Mitzrayim, said, Anusa, mipnei Israel, let us flee from the face of Israel, from the presence or perception of Israel. Anusa, mipnei Israel, ki Yehovah nilham lahem bit Mitzrayim, for Jehovah fighteth for them against the Mitzrayim. Ki Yehovah nilcham lahem b'Mitzrayim. Sabbatical study, this I Rastafari sabbatical study for this Shabbat strong. Shabbat strong. Shabbat strong. Shabbat strong. Shabbat strong. Shabbat strong.
Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel, O children of Israel?
Hear, O Israel. Hear, O Israel. Hear, O Israel. Hear, O Israel. What does Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Achad? Hear, O Israel. Hear, O Israel. The Lord, our God, the Lord is one. What does that really mean? And why is it important?
Here we have today's daily psalm. We have Psalm 9 according to the royal order of Ethiopian Hebrews, after the order of Melchizedek, the righteous king, even the King of Kings, Kamal, Haile Selassie, HaKadosh, Baruch Hashem, 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 Hashem.
Psalm 68. Let God arise, let his enemies be scattered. Let them also that hate him flee before him. As smoke is driven away, so drive them away. As wax melteth before the fire, so let the wicked perish at the presence of God. But let the righteous be glad. Let them rejoice before God. Yea, let them exceedingly rejoice. Sing unto God, sing praises to his name. Extol him that rideth upon the heavens by his name, Yah, 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 Yah. And rejoice before him. A father of the fatherless, and a judge of the widows is God in his holy habitation. God setteth the solitary in families. He bringeth out those which are bound with chains, but the rebellious dwell in a dry land. O God, when thou wentest forth before thy people, when thou didst march through the wilderness, Selah. The earth shook, the heavens also dropped at the presence of God. Even Sinai itself was moved at the presence of God, the God of Israel. Thou, O God, didst send a plentiful rain, whereby thou didst confirm thine inheritance when it was weary. Thy congregation hath dwelt therein. Thou, O God, hast prepared of thy goodness for the poor. The Lord gave the word. Great was the company of those that published it. Kings of armies did flee apace, and she that tarried at home divided the spoil. Though ye have lion among the pots, yet shall ye be as the wings of a dove covered with silver, and her feathers with yellow gold. When the Almighty scattered kings in it, it was white as snow in Salmon. The hill of God is as the hill of Bashan, and high hill as the hill of Bashan. Why leap ye, ye high hills? This is the hill which God desireth to dwell in. Yea, the Lord will dwell in it forever. The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place. Thou hast ascended on high. Thou hast led captivity captive. Thou hast received gifts for men. Yea, for the rebellious also, that the Lord God might dwell among them. Blessed be the Lord, who daily loadeth us with benefits, even the God of our salvation. Selah. He that is our God is the God of salvation, and unto God the Lord belong the issues from death. But God shall wound the head of his enemies, and the hairy scalp of such an one as goeth on still in his trespasses. The Lord said, I will bring again from Bashan. I will bring my people again from the depths of the sea, that thy foot may be dipped in the blood of thine enemies, and the tongue of thy dogs in the same. They have seen thy goings, O God, even the goings of my God, my King, in the sanctuary. The singers went before, the players on instruments followed after. Among them were the damsels playing with timbrels. Bless ye God in the congregations, even the Lord, from the fountain of Israel. There is little Benjamin with their ruler, the princes of Judah and their council, the princes of Zebulun and the princes of Naphtali. Thy God hath commanded thy strength. Strengthen, O God, that which thou hast wrought for us. Because of thy temple at Jerusalem shall kings bring presents unto thee. Rebuke the company of spearmen, the multitude of the bulls with the calves of the people, till every one submit himself with pieces of silver. Scatter thou the people that delight in war. Princes shall come out of Egypt. Ethiopia shall soon stretch out her hands unto God. To God. Ethiopia shall soon stretch out her hands unto God. Sing unto God, ye kingdoms of the earth. Oh, sing praises unto the Lord. Selah, 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 Selah. To him that rideth upon the heavens of heavens, which were of old, lo, he doth send out his voice, and that a mighty voice. Ascribe ye strength unto God. His excellency is over Israel, and his strength is in the clouds. O God, thou art terrible out of thy holy places. The God of Israel is he that giveth strength and power unto his people. Blessed be God.
Kadamawi. Bless ya.
To whom praises due forever.
My advice to all is to fulfill the Ten Commandments.
Shalom again, shalom, Elohim. Here we have today's daily song. We have song.
Oh, yeah. The Bible tell us that God will come again in a new name. It will be terrible and dreadful. Amongst the Eden, call upon his name in this time. It must be Jah. Yes, it must be Jah. Psalm 68, show I that. The Bible tell I that mothers and fathers will be again their joy to call upon his name in this time. It must be Jah. It must be Jah. Psalm 68, show I that. The Bible show again, render your heart and not your garments. Look at the people going to church this day. It must be Jah. Yes, it must be Jah. Psalm 68, show I that. Whoa, yeah. The Bible show again, render your heart and not your garment. Look at the people going to church this day. It must be Jah. Yes, it must be Jah. Psalm 68, show I that. The Bible tell I say, God will come again in a new name. It will be terrible and dreadful amongst the Eden in this time. It must be Jah. Yes, it must be Jah. Psalm 68, show I that. The God will come again. The Bible tells us that God will come again in a new name. It will be terrible and dreadful.
Psalm 68. Let God arise, let his enemies be scattered. Let them also that hate him flee before him. As smoke is driven away, so drive them away. As wax melteth before the fire, so let the wicked perish at the presence of God. But let the righteous be glad. Let them rejoice before God. Yea, let them exceedingly rejoice. Sing unto God, sing praises to his name. Extol him that rideth upon the heavens by his name, Yah, 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 and rejoice before him. A father of the fatherless, and a judge of the widows is God in his holy habitation. God setteth the solitary in families. He bringeth out those which are bound with chains, but the rebellious dwell in a dry land. O God, when thou wentest forth before thy people, when thou didst march through the wilderness, Selah. The earth shook, the heavens also dropped at the presence of God. Even Sinai itself was moved at the presence of God, the God of Israel. Thou, O God, didst send a plentiful rain, whereby thou didst confirm thine inheritance when it was weary. Thy congregation hath dwelt therein. Thou, O God, hast prepared of thy goodness for the poor. The Lord gave the word. Great was the company of those that published it. Kings of armies did flee apace, and she that tarried at home divided the spoil. Though ye have lion among the pots, yet shall ye be as the wings of a dove covered with silver, and her feathers with yellow gold. When the Almighty scattered kings in it, it was white as snow in Salmon. The hill of God is as the hill of Bashan, and high hill as the hill of Bashan. Why leap ye high hills? This is the hill which God desireth to dwell in. Yea, the Lord will dwell in it forever. The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them, as in Sinai in the holy place. Thou hast ascended on high. Thou hast led captivity captive. Thou hast received gifts for men. Yea, for the rebellious also, that the Lord God might dwell among them. Blessed be the Lord, who daily loadeth us with benefits, even the God of our salvation. Selah. He that is our God is the God of salvation, and unto God the Lord belong the issues from death. But God shall wound the head of his enemies, and the hairy scalp of such an one as goeth on still in his trespasses. The Lord said, I will bring again from Bashan. I will bring my people again from the depths of the sea, that thy foot may be dipped in the blood of thine enemies, and the tongue of thy dogs in the same. They have seen thy goings, O God, even the goings of my God, my King, in the sanctuary. The singers went before, the players on instruments followed after, among them were the damsels playing with timbrels. Bless ye God in the congregations, even the Lord, from the fountain of Israel. There is little Benjamin with their ruler, the princes of Judah and their council, the princes of Zebulun and the princes of Naphtali. Thy God hath commanded thy strength. Strengthen, O God, that which thou hast wrought for us. Because of thy temple at Jerusalem shall kings bring presents unto thee. Rebuke the company of spearmen, the multitude of the bulls with the calves of the people, till every one submit himself with pieces of silver. Scatter thou the people that delight in war. Princes shall come out of Egypt. Ethiopia shall soon stretch out her hands unto God. Ethiopia shall soon stretch out her hands unto God. Sing unto God, ye kingdoms of the earth. Oh, sing praises unto the Lord. Selah, 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 Selah. To him that rideth upon the heavens of heavens, which were of old, lo, he doth send out his voice, and that a mighty voice. Ascribe ye strength unto God. His excellency is over Israel, and his strength is in the clouds. O God, thou art terrible out of thy holy places. The God of Israel is he that giveth strength and power unto his people. Blessed be God.
Hosanna, blessed be the King of Israel. Blessed is he who cometh in the name of the Lord.
Carrying palm branches and chanting in mighty volume.
Hosanna, blessed be the King of Israel. Blessed is he who cometh in the name of the Lord.
Kadamawi.
For whom praise is due forever.
My advice to all is to fulfill the Ten Commandments.
Teach high and I am a teacher. Bring forth the Bible. Bring forth the Bible. Bring forth the Bible.
መዝሙር 67 በቅንፍ 68 ለመዘምራን አለቃ የዳዊት የምስጋና መዝሙር። እግዚአብሔር ይነሳ፣ ጠላቶቹም ይበተኑ፣ የሚጠሉትም ከፊቱ ይሽሹ። ጢስ እንደሚበንን እንዲሁ ይብነኑ፣ ሰም በሳት ፊት እንደሚቀልጥ እንዲሁ ኃጥአን ከእግዚአብሔር ፊት ይጥፉ። ጻድቃንም ደስ ይበላቸው፣ በእግዚአብሔርም ፊት ሐሴት ያድርጉ፣ በደስታም ደስ ይበላቸው። ለእግዚአብሔር ተቀኙ፣ ለስሙም ዘምሩ። ወደ ምድረ በዳ ለወጣም መንገድ አድርጉ። ስሙ እግዚአብሔር ነው፣ በፊቱም ደስ ይበላችሁ፣ በፊቱም ይደነግጣሉ። እግዚአብሔር በቅዱስ ቦታው ለድሃ አደጎች አባት ለባልቴቶችም ዳኛ ነው። እግዚአብሔር ብቸኞችን በቤት ያሳድራቸዋል፣ እስረኞችንም በኃይሉ ያወጣቸዋል። አመፀኞች ግን በምድረ በዳ ይኖራሉ። አቤቱ በሕዝብህ ፊት በወጣህ ጊዜ፣ በምድረ በዳም ባለፍህ ጊዜ ምድር ተናወጠች። ከሲና አምላክ ፊት፣ ከእስራኤል አምላክ ፊት ሰማያትም አንጠበጠቡ። አቤቱ የሞገስን ዝናብ ለርስትህ አዘነብ፣ በደከመም ጊዜ አንተ አጸናኸው። እንስሶችህ በውስጡ አደሩ። አቤቱ በቸርነትህ ለድሆች አዘጋጀህ። እግዚአብሔር ቃሉን ሰጠ፣ የሚያወሩት ብዙ ሰራዊት ናቸው። የሰራዊት ነገስታት ፈጥነው ይሸሻሉ። በቤትም የምትኖር ምርኮን ተካፈለች። በርስቶች መካከል ብታድሩ ከብር እንደተሰራ እንደ ርግብ ክንፎች፣ በቅጠልያ ወርቅም እንደተለበጡ ላባዎቿ ትሆናላችሁ። ሰማያዊ ንጉሥ በላይዋ ባዘዘ ጊዜ በሰለሞን ላይ በረዶ ዘነበ። የእግዚአብሔር ተራራ የለመለመ ተራራ ነው፣ የጸና ተራራና የለመለመ ተራራ ነው። የጸኑ ተራራዎች ለምን ይነሳሉ? እግዚአብሔር ይህንን ተራራ ያድርበት ዘንድ ወደደው። በእውነት እግዚአብሔር ለዘላለም ያድርበታል። የእግዚአብሔር ሰረገላዎች የብዙ ሺህ ናቸው። ጌታ በመቅደሱ በሲና በመካከላቸው ነው። ወደ ላይ አረግ፣ ምርኮን ማረክህ፣ ስጦታንም ለሰዎች ሰጠህ፣ ደግሞም ለአመፀኞች በዛ ያድሩ ዘንድ። እግዚአብሔር አምላክ ብሩክ ነው፣ እግዚአብሔር በየዕለቱ ብሩክ ነው። የመድኃኒታችን አምላክ ይረዳናል። አምላካችንስ የደህንነት አምላክ ነው። ከሞት መውጣትም ከእግዚአብሔር ነው። ነገር ግን እግዚአብሔር የጠላቶቹን ራስ በኃጢአት የሚሄድንም የፀጉሩን አናት ይቀጠቅጣል። እግዚአብሔር እንዲህ አለ፣ ከባሳን አመጣቸዋለሁ፣ ከባህርም ጥልቅ መልሳቸዋለሁ። እግሮችህ በደም ይረግጡ ዘንድ የውሾችህ ምላስ በጠላቶች ላይ ይሆን ዘንድ የአምላኬ የንጉሥ መንገድ በመቅደሱ አቤቱ መንገድህ ተገለጠ። አለቆች ቀደሙ፣ መዘምራንም ተከተሉ። ከበሮን በሚመቱ በቆነጃጅት መካከል እግዚአብሔርን በጉባኤ ጌታችንንም በእስራኤል ምንጭ አመስግኑት። ወጣቱ ብንያም በጉልበቱ በዚያ አለ። ገዦቻቸው የይሁዳ አለቆች፣ የዛቢሎን አለቆችና የንፍታሌም አለቆች አቤቱ ኃይልህን ዘዝ፣ አቤቱ ይህንም ለኛ የሰራኸውን አጽና። በኢየሩሳሌም ስላለው መቅደስህ ነገሥታት እጅ መንሻን ላንተ ያመጣሉ። በሸምበቆ ውስጥ ያሉትን አራዊት፣ በአሕዛብ ውስጥ ያሉትን የበሬዎችንና የወይፈኖችን ጉባኤ ገስጽ። በአሕዛብ ውስጥ ያሉትን የበሬዎችንና የወይፈኖችን ጉባኤ ገስጽ። እንደ ብር የተፈተኑት አሕዛብን እንዳይዘጉ ሰልፍን የሚወዱትን አሕዛብን በትናቸው። መኳንንት ከግብጽ ይመጣሉ። ኢትዮጵያ እጆቿን ወደ እግዚአብሔር ትዘረጋለች። የምድር ነገሥታት ለእግዚአብሔር ተቀኙ፣ ለጌታም ዘምሩ። በምስራቅ በኩል ወደ ሰማየ ሰማያት ለወጣ ለእግዚአብሔር ዘምሩ። የኃይል ቃል የሆነ ቃሉን እነሆ ይሰጣል። ለእግዚአብሔር ክብር ስጡ። ግርማው በእስራኤል ላይ ኃይሉም በደመናት ላይ ነው። እግዚአብሔር በቅዱሳኑ ላይ ድንቅ ነው። የእስራኤል አምላክ እርሱ ኃይልን ብርታትንም ለሕዝቡ ይሰጣል። እግዚአብሔርም ይመስገን።
Teach me, teacher. Teach high and I am. Bring forth the Bible. Bring forth the Bible. Bring forth the Bible.
Salam to Tenais Alim. Today's daily psalm, according to the royal order of the Ethiopian Hebrews, and here after the order of Melchizedek. Yes, I. Today's daily psalm, Mezmor Silsa Cement, Psalm 68 from the Mezmore Dawit, the Psalms of David. Here we have the HSV, the Haile Selassie version, the Authorized Revised and Hard Bible. And here we're going to compare, contrast side by side with the KJV, the English KJV, the Royal Amharic, and the English. Today's daily psalm is Mora Dawit, Silsa Cement, Psalm of David, Psalm 68. Here the theme, Chabarim, Beherawi Yadilla Mezmur, a national psalm of victory, national psalm of victory. Exia, we had a sustain of the good, the generous Ab at Sinai and in the sanctuary. We have Jah, victory, salvation. Today's daily psalm, according to the royal order of the Ethiopian Hebrews here, Mezmore Dawit, Silsa, Cement, 68. Superscription, firstly, foremostly, to the chief musician, a psalm or song of David. Lemezamrana leka, ye Dawit, ye Miskana, Mezmor. Le Mezamrana leka, to the chief musician, ye Dawit of David, ye Miskana of thanks, Mezmor, a chant, a vocal word, sound, power, chant of thanks of David. Kutar an, verse 1. እግዚአብሔር ይነሳ ጠላቶቹም ይበትኑ የሚያጠሉትም ከፊቱ ይሽሹ. Let God, እግዚአብሔር, the sustainer of the good, the generous arise. እግዚአብሔር ይነሳ. Let his enemies, may his enemies be scattered. ጠላቶቹም ይበትኑ. Let them, make them also that hate him, flee before him. Kamiyat elutim makafitu yishishu. Kuter hulet. Verse 2. Isindemi benenna indi huwa yibnenu. Sim be'isat fit and the miyak elita indi huwa khatana ka exyavi rafita yitfu. As smoke is driven away. Peace in the Mia Benin. So Hindihu, drive them away. Yibnenu. Sem be'isat feet in the Mia Kalit, as wax melteth before the fire. Sem be'isat feet in the Mia Kalit. So Hindihu, make the wicked the ratchet perish at the presence of Egziavihar, the sustainer, the good, the generous Ab, Father, Indihu, Chita'ana ka Egziavihar, Rafita Yitfu, Kuter Sauce, verse 3. Tzadik anim desibelacho, the Egziavirim Fita Haseta Yadrugu, Bedesitam desibelacho. But let the righteous and let the righteous, tzaddik anim, and the righteous, may they be glad. Desibelacho, be'ekziavi harim fita haseta yadrugu. Let them, make them rejoice before Egziavi har sustain the good generous of bedesitam desibelacho. Let them exceeding rejoice. Bedesitam desibelacho. Kutar arat. Verse 4. Le Egziavi hertik enyu. Le sumuma zemru. Wada midrebeda le watama mengeda drugu. Sumu Egziavi herno. Befituma desibelacho. Befituma yid negatalu. Sing to Egziavi her, sustainer the good, the generous ab. Le Egziavi her tek enyu. Sing praises, aises to his name. Le sumum zemru. Extol him that rideth upon the heavens by his name, Joy, and rejoice before him. Smu Egziavi herno. Befitum desibelachu. Befitum idnegatal. Look, note right here. When it says, extol him that rideth upon the heavens. Extol him, he who he be, that rideth upon the heavens. Look, note right here. An alternative translation, cast up a highway for him. For there's a parallel here in the prophet Yeshayahu, Isaiah 40 verse 3. Make plain in the desert, what a midre bedah. Make plain in the desert a highway for Amlakachin, for I and I source Elohim. What a midre bedah lewet ama men get adrigu. In the east, look to the east, the orient yourself. Looking to the east, the eastern monarch, the oriental monarchs on his journeys, he needs such road makers. He needs such road menders to go before him. And unless men, mandem, remove the human hindrances, the human obstacles to Egziavi, the sustainer, the good, the generous Av's coming, he will not appear. Thus we have Bamarinya, also the LXX brings us out. What a midre beda, to the desert, le what amen gedadrigu. Cast up a highway for him. Where? What a midre beda, in the wilderness. Speaking of the deserts, in the wilderness, extol him that rideth from the heavens by his name. Semu Egziavi herno. Semu Egziavi herno. His name, the sustainer, the good, the excellent, it is. The Hebrew here, we have Yah Shemo. Yah, in Jah, his name, in Jah, his name that rideth upon the, some say, KJV says heavens. It says heavens, as we know right here, what a midre beda. Here we have the desert, through the deserts. The fine dust is used within layers of clouds in the sky. Here we have a Ethio-Hebraic, Afro-Shemitic, seminar work, metaphor, learning to read the sign language and the Hebraic poetry. The usual meaning of the one riding through the desert is linked with the heavens. We have this in Psalm 36, round about verse 5, verse 6. Also in Psalm 57, round about verse 10, verse 11. Befitum desibalachu. And in his face, his perception, befitum desibalachu. And y'all be happy. Befitum yidanegatalo. Befitum yidanegatalo. And before him be in awe. Kutar Amis, verse 5. Exaviher dek dus botawa ledeha de gochabat. Leba letetochima danyano. A father of the fatherless, and a judge of the widows is Exavier, to sustain the good, the excellent Father in his holy, his Isla habitation. Exavier, the Kedus Botal, led the hard the goch abat, father of the fatherless. Leba letetochima danyano, danya. Dayan, in the Hebrew we have Dayan, judge. Here in the world of Hawk, we have Danyano, a judge of widows he be. Kuter Sibis, verse 6. Exavier bechenyo chinna bebeta yasadrachuan. Isarenyo chnim hailu yawet achual. Ametenyo chagina bemidrebe dayinoralu. Exavier, the sustainer, setteth the solitary in families. He bringeth out those which are bound with chains. In his hailu, in his power. He bringeth out those in his power, with his power, that were bound with chains or prisoners. But the rebellious, the rebels, the rebellious, the rebels shall dwell in the desert, in the wilderness, in a dry land. Verse 7. Abetu, behizbim fita bewetahe gize. Oh God, Abetu, I father, his father, oh father of the house, that has been feet when thou, the I, wentest forth before thy people, there has been feet, and in the people's face perception, there what when thou didst march through the wilderness, the wilderness, she shook, the earth shook, Selah. Cement, verse 8. Kasinam lakfit, ka Israelam lakfit, samayatim anatabet ebu. The earth shook. The heavens also dropped at the presence of God. Even Sinai itself was moved at the presence of God, the God of Yisrael, the source of Yisrael. Kasina amlak feet, ka Yisrael amlak feet, samayatim antabet abu. Kuta zeteng, verse 9. Abetu, yemogesina zenable ristihe azenebe, bedekamem gize ante atsenaho. Thou, the I, Abetu, I father, his father, oh father, of the house. Thou didst send a plentiful rain, whereby thou, the I, didst confirm thine inheritance when it was weary. Bedekamem gize ante atsenaho. Kutaraser, verse 10. Infisoche be wustu adru. Abetu bechornete le deho chazagaje. Thy congregation, aggregation, hath dwelt therein. Thou, the I, Abetu, I father, his father, O father, the house. Bechornete le deho chazagaje. Hast appeared of thy goodness, thy open-handedness, thy generosity. Bechornete for the poor, le deho chazagaje. ቁጥር 11 verse 11 እግዚአብሔር ቃሉን ሰጠ የሚያወሩት ብዙ ሰራዊት ናቸው. The Lord, እግዚአብሔር, the sustainer, the good, the generous, our Father, gave the word. እግዚአብሔር ቃሉን ሰጠ. Great was the company of those that published it. የሚያወሩት ብዙ ሰራዊት ናቸው. ቁጥር 12 verse 12 የሰራዊት ነገሥታት ፈጥነው ይሸሻሉ. በቤትም የምትኖር ምርኮን ተካፈለች. Kings of armies did flee apace. Yes, ሰራዊት ነገሥታት ፈጥነው ይሸሻሉ. And she that tarried at home divided the spoil. በቤትም የምትኖር ምርኮን ተካፈለች. ቁጥር 13 verse 13 በርስቶች መካከል ብታድሩ ክብር እንደተሰሩ እንደ ርግብ ክንፎች በቅጠልያ ወርቅም እንደተለበጡ ላባዎችዋ ትሆናላችሁ. Though ye y'all have lion among the pots, yet shall ye y'all be as the wings of a dove, covered with silver, and her feathers with yellow gold. በርስቶች መካከል ብታድሩ ክብር እንደተሰሩ እንደ ርግብ ክንፎች በቅጠልያ ወርቅም እንደተለበጡ ላባዎችዋ ትሆናላችሁ. ቁጥር 14 verse 14 ሰማያዊ ንጉሥ በላይዋ ባዘዘ ጊዜ በሰልሞን ላይ በረዶው ዘነበ. When the Almighty, ሰማያዊ ንጉሥ, the heavenly king, ሰማያዊ ንጉሥ, when the Almighty, ሰማያዊ ንጉሥ, the heavenly king, በላይዋ ባዘዘ ጊዜ, above her time when he commanded, በሰልሞን ላይ በረዶ ዘነበ. Scattered kings in it. It was white as snow in Salmon. ቁጥር 15 verse 15 የእግዚአብሔር ተራራ የለመለመ ተራራ ነው. የጸና ተራራና የለመለመ ተራራ ነው. The hill of እግዚአብሔር is as the hill of Bashan, a high hill as the hill of Bashan. የእግዚአብሔር ተራራ የለመለመ ተራራ ነው. የጸና ተራራና የለመለመ ተራራ ነው. ቁጥር 16 verse 16 የጸኑ ተራራዎች ለምን ይነሳሉ? እግዚአብሔር ይህን ተራራ ያደርበት ዘንድ ወደደው. በእውነት እግዚአብሔር ዘላለም ያደርበታል. Why leap y'all, ye high hills? የጸኑ ተራራዎች ለምን ይነሳሉ? Why leap y'all, ye high hills? This is the hill which እግዚአብሔር sustain, desire to dwell in. እግዚአብሔር ይህን ተራራ ያደርበት ዘንድ ወደደው. Yea, እግዚአብሔር the sustainer will dwell in it forever, forever. በእውነት እግዚአብሔር ዘላለም ያደርበታል. ቁጥር 17 verse 17 የእግዚአብሔር ሰረገላዎች ብዙ ሺህ ናቸው. ጌታ በመቅደሱ በሲና በመካከላቸው ነው. The chariots of እግዚአብሔር, sustaining the good, generous Father, are 20,000, even thousands of angels. ጌታ Adonai is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy, the Isla, set apart place. የእግዚአብሔር ሰረገላዎች ብዙ ሺህ ናቸው. ጌታ በመቅደሱ በሲና በመካከላቸው ነው. ቁጥር 18 verse 18 ወደ ላይ አረገ ምርኮን ማረከ ስጦታንም ለሰዎች ሰጠ ደግሞም ለአመፀኞች በዚያ ያድሩ ዘንድ. Thou, the eye, has ascended on high. Thou, the eye, has led captivity captive. ወደ ላይ አረገ ምርኮን ማረከ ስጦታንም ለሰዎች ሰጠ. Thou hast received gifts for men, yea, for the rebellious also degmom amitzenyoch, that the Lord God might dwell among them. Bezia yadruzen kutrasra zeteng verse 19. እግዚአብሔር አምላክ ብሩክ ነው። እግዚአብሔር በየዕለቱ ብሩክ ነው። የመድኃኒታችን አምላክ ይረዳናል። Blessed be እግዚአብሔር, the sustainer, the good, the generous Father. እግዚአብሔር አምላክ ብሩክ ነው። እግዚአብሔር በየዕለቱ ብሩክ ነው። Blessed be እግዚአብሔር, day by day የመድኃኒታችን አምላክ ይረዳናል. The source of I and I salvation will help I, who daily loaded I and I with benefits, even the source of I and I salvation. Selah, pause. Kutar Haya, verse 20. አምላካችንስ የደህንነት አምላክ ነው። ከሞት መውጣትም ከእግዚአብሔር ነው። He that is our source, Amlakachin, Ainai Amlak, Ainai source, is the source of salvation. Amlakachinis, Dechinet Amlakno. And to እግዚአብሔር, the Lord, belongeth the issues from death. Komota motatim ka እግዚአብሔር no. Kutar haya and. ነገር ግን እግዚአብሔር የጠላቶቹን ራስ በኃጢአት የሚያሄድንማ የጠጉሩን ናታ ይቀጠቅጣል። But እግዚአብሔር, the sustainer, the good, the generous, shall wound the head of his enemies. ነገር ግን እግዚአብሔር የጠላቶቹን ራስ, and the hairy scalp of such an one as goeth on still in his trespasses. በኃጢአት የሚሄድንማ የጠጉሩን ናታ ይቀጠቅጣል። ቁጥር 22 verse 22. እግዚአብሔር እንዲህ አለ፣ ከባሳን አመጣችኋል፣ ከባሕርም ጥልቅ እመልሳችኋል። እግዚአብሔር, the sustainer, the good, the generous, like this has said, እግዚአብሔር እንዲህ አለ, I will bring again from Bashan, ከባሳን አመጣችኋል. I will bring my people again from the depths of the sea. ከባሕርም ጥልቅ እመልሳችኋል። ቁጥር 23 verse 23. እግሮችህ በደም ይረገጡ ዘንድ የውሾችህ ምላስ በጠላቶች ላይ ይሆን ዘንድ, so that thy foot may be dipped in the blood of thine enemies. እግሮችህ በደም ይረገጡ ዘንድ, and the tongue of thy dogs in the same የውሾችህ ምላስ ከጠላቶች ላይ ይሆን ዘንድ. ቁጥር 24 verse 24. የአምላኬ የንጉሥ መንገድ በመቅደሱ አቤቱ መንገድህ ተገለጠ. They have seen thy goings, abetu, Father, Father of the house, even the goings of my God, my King, in the sanctuary. Yamlaki yengus menged bemekdesu abetu mengede tegelete. Kuta haya amis, verse 25. Alik ochek edemu. መዘምራንም ተከተሉ ከብሮና በሚያመቱ በቆነጃጅታ መካከል. The singers went before. አለቆች ቀደሙ. The players on instruments followed after. መዘምራንም ተከተሉ. Among them were the damsels, the daughters, playing with timbrels, the kabrona በሚያመቱ በቆነጃጅታ መካከል. ቁጥር 26 verse 26. እግዚአብሔርና በጉባኤ ጌታችንማ በእስራኤል ምንጭ አመስግኑት. Bless y'all, አመስግኑት. Bless y'all, እግዚአብሔር, the sustainer of the good, the excellent Father, in the aggregations. እግዚአብሔርን በጉባኤ, even the Lord, even I Adonai, ጌታችንም በእስራኤል ምንጭ አመስግኑት. Even I ጌታ, I Lord, I sovereign, I Adonai, from the
captain of Israel, the Israel Minch, Ameskenut, Kuta Haya Savat, verse 27. Watatu Binyam, Be Gula Betu, Bezial, Gejochacho, Ye Yehuda, Alekoch, Ye Zabulon, Alekochina, Ye Niftalemim, Alekoch. There is Leko Benjamin, Watatu Binyam, Be Gulbetu, Bezial, with their ruler. There's Leko Benjamin, there's the youth, Benjamin, Yaman, Watatu Binyam, Be Gulbetu, Bezial. Gejochacho, Yehuda Lekoch, the princes of Judah, Gejochacho, Yehuda Lekoch, there and their council, Yezablon Alekochna, Yeniftalemim Alekoch, the princes, the chiefs of Zebulun, and the princes, the chiefs of Naphtali. Kuta Haya Cement, verse 28. Aretu. Thy God hath commanded thy strength. Avitu. My father, his father, father of the house. Haylehin is Haylehin, Hayel, the eyes Hayel, the eyes power, the eyes Hayel, Haylehin is command the eyes power of it to my father's father, oh father of the house. Strengthen, oh God, that which thou hast wrought, that which thou hast done for us, for I and I. Verse 29. The Jerusalem Masalaloa Mekdese, Negestata Ejamin Menshana Leante Yametalu. Because of thy temple at Jerusalem, Be Jerusalem Salaloa Mekdeseh, shall kings bring presents to thee. I Negestate Ijamin Shan Leante Yametal. Kuta Salasa, verse 30. Besham Kowistaya Tinarawit, the Azab was Lutena, Yebreochina, Yewefenyochino, Guaye, I guess it's in the Bru, Yetefetanuta, Hizaba, and Daya Zagu, Selefina, Yamia, Wedutina, Hizadina, Betanacho. Rebuke the company of seer men, the multitude of the bulls, with the calves of the till. Everyone submit himself with pieces of silver, and scatter thou the people that delight. Scatter thou the people that delight in war. Kuta Salasa and verse 31. Mekwanint kagabita you what ye metalo. Mekwanint kagabita ye metalo. Ethiopia, Jochuana, what a gaziari hertz princes shall come out of Egypt. Mekwanint kagabita ye metalo. Ethiopia shall soon stretch out her hands to Egaziabihar. Ethiopia, Jochuana, what Egaziabihar to Zarregalech. Mekwanent Kagabita ye metal. Ethiopia, Jochuana, what Egaziabihar to Zarregalech. Kuta Salasa Hulet, verse 32. Ye mitr negestat, le Egaziabihar tek enyu, le Gitama Zamru. Sing to Egaziabihar, the sustainable good, the excellent ye kingdoms of the earth. Ye midrin negestat, le Egaziabihar tekenu. Oh, sing sing praises to the Lord Adonai, le Gitam Zamru. Selah, 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 Selah. Salasa source, verse 33. The misrata bekula what is samayata lewata le Egaziabihar Zamru. Ye Hayilak ala Yahonak alun in the whole Yiset al. To him that rideth upon the heavens of heavens, which were of old. The misrata bekula what is samayata lewata le Egaziabihar Zamru. Lo, he doth send out his voice. Yehailak Allah, Yahonek Alun, and that a mighty voice in the whole Yisetal, Kuter Salasa Arat, verse 34. Le'egiziabiher kabrina situ. Gurmao be Israel lai. Hailuna be demanata laino. Ascribe your strength to Egiziabiher, to the sustaining the good, the generous Father, Le'egiziabia kabrin situ. His excellency, his majesty is over Israel, Gurmao be Israel lai. And his strength is in the clouds. Hailum bedemanata laino. Le'egiziabiher kabrin situ. Gurmao be Israel lai. Hailum bedemanata laino. Kutar Sarasa Amist, verse 35. Egiziabiher be kedusanu lai adinkno. Ye Israel amlak arsu hailin baratatnima lehizbu yisetal. Egiziabiher rima yimesken. Oh, Egiziabiher, O sustainer, good, generous Father, thou art terrible. Out of thy holy, out of thy isla places, Egiziabiher, the kedusanu lai dinkno. The God, the source of Yisrael is he that giveth strength, and power to his people. Israel amlak ersu hailina bertatinema lehizbu yisetal. Blessed be Egiziabiher. Egiziabiherim yimesken. Egiziabiherim yimesken. 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 Yimesken.
Let them message, Jaja. Rastafari, King of all kings, Lord of all lords, conquering Lion of the tribe of Judah, elect of himself, mighty and the rebel exhibit, massacre, and Yahweh, the goose and the God, let shall be praised. Kadamawi,
The whole place is due forever.
Carrying palm branches and chanting in mighty volume.
Hosanna, blessed be the King of Israel. Blessed is he who cometh in the name of the Lord.
Legashun, Agarashun, Legashun, Zengashwe, Ethiopia Menage, you know. But I want the next verse with Amaric. But I want the next verse with Amaric.
Teach me, teacher. Teach I and I am a teacher. Bring forth the Bible. Bring forth the Bible. Bring forth the Bible. Bring forth the Bible. Bring forth the Bible.
መዝሙር 67 በቅንፍ 68 ለመዘምራን አለቃ የዳዊት የምስጋና መዝሙር። እግዚአብሔር ይነሳ፣ ጠላቶቹም ይበተኑ፣ የሚጠሉትም ከፊቱ ይሽሹ። ጢስ እንደሚበንን እንዲሁ ይብነኑ፣ ሰም በሳት ፊት እንደሚቀልጥ እንዲሁ ኃጥአን ከእግዚአብሔር ፊት ይጥፉ። ጻድቃንም ደስ ይበላቸው፣
በእግዚአብሔርም ፊት ሐሴት ያድርጉ በደስታም ደስ ይበላቸው ለእግዚአብሔር ተቀኙ ለስሙም ዘምሩ ወደ ምድረ በዳ ለወጣም መንገድ አድርጉ ስሙ እግዚአብሔር ነው በፊቱም ደስ ይበላችሁ በፊቱም ይደነግጣሉ እግዚአብሔር በቅዱስ ቦታው ለድሃ አደጎች አባት ለባልቴቶችም ዳኛ ነው እግዚአብሔር ብቸኞችን በቤት ያሳድራቸዋል እስረኞችንም በኃይሉ ያወጣቸዋል አመፀኞችን ግን በምድረ በዳ ይኖራሉ አቤቱ በሕዝብህ ፊት በወጣህ ጊዜ በምድረ በዳም ባለፍህ ጊዜ ምድር ተናወጠች ከሲና አምላክ ፊት ከእስራኤል አምላክ ፊት ሰማያትም አንጠበጠቡ አቤቱ የሞገስን ዝናብ ለርስትህ አዘነብ በደከመም ጊዜ አንተ አጸናኸው እንስሶችህ በውስጡ አደሩ አቤቱ በቸርነትህ ለድሆች አዘጋጀህ እግዚአብሔር ቃሉን ሰጠ የሚያወሩት ብዙ ሰራዊት ናቸው የሰራዊት ነገስታት ፈጥነው ይሸሻሉ በቤትም የምትኖር ምርኮን ተካፈለች በርስቶች መካከል ብታድሩ ከብር እንደተሰራ እንደ ርግብ ክንፎች በቅጠልያ ወርቅም እንደተለበጡ ላባዎቿ ትሆናላችሁ ሰማያዊ ንጉስ በላይዋ ባዘዘ ጊዜ በሰለሞን ላይ በረዶ ዘነበ የእግዚአብሔር ተራራ የለመለመ ተራራ ነው የጸና ተራራና የለመለመ ተራራ ነው የጸኑ ተራራዎች ለምን ይነሳሉ እግዚአብሔር ይህንን ተራራ ያድርበት ዘንድ ወደደው በእውነት እግዚአብሔር ለዘላለም ያድርበታል የእግዚአብሔር ሰረገላዎች ብዙ ሺህ ናቸው ጌታ በመቅደሱ በሲና በመካከላቸው ነው ወደ ላይ አረግህ ምርኮን ማረክህ ስጦታንም ለሰዎች ሰጠህ ደግሞም ለአመፀኞች በዛ ያድሩ ዘንድ እግዚአብሔር አምላክ ብሩክ ነው እግዚአብሔር በየዕለቱ ብሩክ ነው የመድኃኒታችን አምላክ ይረዳናል አምላካችንስ የደህንነት አምላክ ነው ከሞት መውጣትም ከእግዚአብሔር ነው ነገር ግን እግዚአብሔር የጠላቶቹን ራስ በኃጢአት የሚሄድንም የፀጉሩን አናት ይቀጠቅጣል እግዚአብሔር እንዲህ አለ ከባሳን አመጣቸዋለሁ ከባህርም ጥልቅ መልሳቸዋለሁ እግሮችህ በደም ይረግጡ ዘንድ የውሾችህ ምላስ በጠላቶች ላይ ይሆን ዘንድ የአምላኬ የንጉስ መንገድ በመቅደሱ አቤቱ መንገድህ ተገለጠ አለቆች ቀደሙ መዘምራንም ተከተሉ ከበሮን በሚመቱ በቆነጃጅት መካከል እግዚአብሔርን በጉባኤ ጌታችንንም በእስራኤል ምንጭ አመስግኑት ወጣቱ ብንያም በጉልበቱ በዚያ አለ ገዦቻቸው የይሁዳ አለቆች የዛቢሎን አለቆችና የንፍታሌም አለቆች አቤቱ ኃይልህን እዘዝ አቤቱ ይህንም ለኛ የሰራኸውን አጽና በኢየሩሳሌም ስላለው መቅደስህ ነገስታት እጅ መንሻን ላንተ ያመጣሉ በሸምበቆ ውስጥ ያሉትን አራዊት በአሕዛብ ውስጥ ያሉትን የበሬዎችንና የወይፈኖችን ጉባኤ ገስጽ በአሕዛብ ውስጥ ያሉትን የበሬዎችንና የወይፈኖችን ጉባኤ ገስጽ እንደ ብር የተፈተኑት አሕዛብን እንዳይዘጉ ሰልፍን የሚወዱትን አሕዛብን በትናቸው መኳንንት ከግብጽ ይመጣሉ ኢትዮጵያ እጆቿን ወደ እግዚአብሔር ትዘረጋለች የምድር ነገስታት ለእግዚአብሔር ተቀኙ ለጌታም ዘምሩ በምስራቅ በኩል ወደ ሰማየ ሰማያት ለወጣ ለእግዚአብሔር ዘምሩ የኃይል ቃል የሆነ ቃሉን እነሆ ይሰጣል ለእግዚአብሔር ክብር ስጡ ግርማው በእስራኤል ላይ ኃይሉም በደመናት ላይ ነው እግዚአብሔር በቅዱሳኑ ላይ ድንቅ ነው የእስራኤል አምላክ እርሱ ኃይልን ብርታትንም ለሕዝቡ ይሰጣል እግዚአብሔርም ይመስገን
Hallelujah.
Father and Son, Father and Son, Father and Son.
Ethiopia, 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 Ethiopia. Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel, O children of Israel?
The sea. Elect of the light of this world. Remember now, lands of King David, Ark of the Covenant, Hebrew language, and you must, little children of the world, learn the Ashanti language, learn the ancient Hebrew language, learn the Twi, learn cuneiform, hieroglyphic, New Orphic, Tamarians, learn them languages there, learn the Hamaric language. You see? You see the English language, trying your mentality,
Sirach, the prologue, King James 1611 version. The same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them. Sirach, the prologue, King James 1611 version.
So people still searching for this truth here, which this reggae music, bring Christ to them, and the only purpose it serves is to tell the people about Rastafari.
מזמור ס"ח למנצח לדוד מזמור שיר. יקום אלוהים יפוצו אויביו וינוסו משנאיו מפניו. והנדוף עשן תנדוף והמס דונג מפני אש יאבדו רשעים מפני אלוהים. וצדיקים ישמחו יעלצו לפני אלוהים ויסיסו ושמחה. שירו לאלוהים זמרו שמו סולו לרוכב בערבות ביח שמו ועלזו לפניו. אבי יתומים ודיין אלמנות אלוהים במעון קודשו. אלוהים מושיב יחידים ביתה מוציא אסירים בכושרות אך סוררים שכנו צחיחה. אלוהים בצאתך לפני עמך בצעדך ושמעון סלע ארץ רעשה אף שמיים נטפו מפני אלוהים זה סיני מפני אלוהים אלוהי ישראל. גשם נדבות תניף אלוהים נחלתך ונלאה אתה חונמת. חייתך ישבו בה תכין בטובתך לעמי אלוהים. אדוני ייתן עומר המבשרו צבא רב. מלכי צבאות ידודון ונבת בית תחלק שלל. אם תשכבון בין שפתיים כנפי יונה נחפה וכסף ועברותיה בירקרק חרוץ. בפרס שדי מלכים בה תשלג בצלמון. הר אלוהים הר בשן הר גבנונים הר בשן. למה תרצדון הרים גבנונים. ההר חמד אלוהים לשבטו אף אדוני ישכון לנצח. רכב אלוהים ריבותיים אלפי שנען. אדוני בם סיני בקודש. עלית למרום שבית שבי לקחת מתנות באדם ואף סוררים לשכון יה אלוהים. ברוך אדוני יום יום יעמוס לנו האל ישועתנו סלע. האל לנו אל מושעות ולאלוהים אדוני למוות תוצאות. אך אלוהים ימחץ ראש אויביו קודקוד שיער מתהלך באשמיו. אמר אדוני מבשן אשיב ממצולות ים. למען תמחץ רגלך בדם לשון כלביך מאויבים מינהו. ראו הליכותיך אלוהים, הליכות אלי מלכי וקודש, קידמו שרים אחר נוגנים, בתוך עלמות תופפות. במקהלות ברכו אלוהים, אדוני ממקור ישראל. שם בנימין צעיר רודם, שרי יהודה רקמתם, שרי זבולון, שרי נפתלי. ציווה אלוהיך עוזיך, עוזה אלוהים, זו פעלת לנו. מהיכליך על ירושלים, לך יובילו מלכים שי, גער חיית קנה, עדת אבירים ועגלי עמים, מתרפס ברצי כסף, ביזר עמים קרבות יחפצו. יאתיו חשמנים מני מצרים, כוש תריץ ידיו לאלוהים. ממלכות הארץ שירו לאלוהים, זמרו אדוני סלע. לרוכב בשמי שמי קדם, הן ייתן בקולו כל עוז. תנו עוז לאלוהים, על ישראל גאוותו ועוזו בשחקים. נורא אלוהים ממקדשך, אל ישראל הוא נותן עוז ותעצומות לעם. ברוך אלוהים.
My evil boy, everything takes time.
RasTafari. Abagada Taya Kaya Manafai Patala Warashata.
Bring forth the Bible. Bring forth the Bible. Bring forth the Bible.
מזמור סמק ח' מזמור סמק ח' למנצח לדוד מזמור שיר. יקום אלוהים, יפוצו אויביו, וינוסוה משנאיו מפניו. כהינדוף עשן תנדופה, כהימס דונגה מפני אש. יאבדו רשעים מפני אלוהים, וצדיקים ישמחו. יעלצו לפני אלוהים, ויסיסו בשמחה. שירו אלוהים, זמרו שמו, סולו לרוקב ערבות, ביה שמו, ואלזו לפניו. אביה יתומים ודיין אלמנות, אלוהים אביה מעונה קדשו. אלוהים מושיב יחידים ביתה, מוציא שרים בכושרות. הכסורים שקנו צחיחה, אלוהים בצאתך לפני עמך, בצדקך בשמעון סלע, סלע, סלע. Today's psalm is more Samek Chet, here to the Selah. Opening verses, the advent of Elohim and its effects, the advent of the true good, the true God, and the effects, the affects. Here, today's daily psalm, Elohim's victories, Elohim's Yeshua's salvations, victories, deliverances, Mizmor Samek Chet, Mizmor Samek Chet. La Menatziach Le Dawid, Mizmor Shir. For the leader, the overcomer, the chief musician, La Menatziach Le Dawid. For David of David, Mizmor, a psalm of David, a chant, Isis of David. Shir, Shir, a song. Shir, La Menatziach Le Dawid, Mizmor Shir. For the chief musician, the overcomer, a chant, Isis, David, the well-beloved, a song. יקום אלוהים יפוצו אויביו, וינוסו משנאיו מפניו. Make
Elohim arise, or they say, let God arise. May Elohim rise up. Yakum Elohim. May the power, the Hebrew God power rise up. Yakum Elohim. Yafutsu Oibayo. May his enemies, Oibayo, Oivav, or modern Hebrew, Oivav, ancient pointing, Oibayo. May his enemies be scattered. Yafutsu, Oibayo. We Yanusu, and let them flee. Yanusu, and Yanusu, and make them flee. Misanayo, Mipanayo, and make them that hate him, Misanayo, those who hate him, Misanayo, flee before him, Mipanayo, from his face, Yanusu. We Yanusu, Misanayo, Mipanayo. First verse, Yakum Elohim Yafutsu Oibayo. We Yanusu Misanayo Mipanayo. First proper verse here. This is the bait verse, the second verse in the Hebrew, but in the translations, this is usually described as the first verse right here. Hebraically, here the Gimel, the Gamel verse. Ke hindof ashan tindof. Ke himesa donag mipane eish. Yobadu rishaim mipane Elohim. As smoke is driven away, so drive them away. As driving away of smoke, drive them away. Ke hindof ashan tindof. Ke hindof ashan tindof. Ke himes. And as melting donag of wax, mipane eish, before the fire, ke himesa donaga mipane eish, yobdu, let them perish, rishaim, the ratchet, the defiant ones, may the defiant ones, the ratchet ones perish, yobdu rishaim, mipane, from the face, Elohim, from the face, from the presence, from before the Hebrew God power. Right here, the Gimel verse. Kehindof ashan tindof. Kehimesa donaga mipnei eish. Yobadua rishaima mipnei Elohim. Here, the Dalet verse. He breaks the fourth verse. With tzadikim yismechu ya'ilzu lifnei Elohim. With yasisu b'simcha. But make the righteous, the tzadikim, with tzadikim, be glad. Yismechu. You say samach, yismechu. Make tzadikim, with tzadikim, yismechu. But make the righteous be glad. Ya'alzu lifnei Elohim. Make them exalt. Ya'alzu. Make them exalt. And that's in big up, exalt. Ya'alzu lifnei, before, for the face, for the presence. Lifnei Elohim. Before the Elohim, for the face of Elohim. With Yasisu, and may they rejoice, Yasisu, with Yasisu, Bisimcha, in Simcha, in gladness. With Tzadikima Yismechu, Ya'alzu lifnei Elohim, with Yasisu, Bisimcha. Here the fifth verse Hebraically, the Hay verse. Shiru lelohim zamru shemo. Solelu la rokeb ba'arabot. De ya shemo. We ilazu li fanayo. Sing to Elohim, sing praises, Isis to his name. Shiru lelohim, zamru, chant Isis, y'all, chant mizmor, y'all, zamru shemo, chant Isis his name. Shiru, sing lelohim, Elohim to Elohim, zamru, chant Isis, shemo, his name. Solu la rokeb. Extol y'all, the rider, ba'arabot, the rider. Some interpret on the heavens, some interpret on the skies, but here, Hebraically, through the deserts, the rider upon the skies, the heavens, Ba-Rabot, the Arabot, through the deserts. Some translate rider, the rider, him that rideth, really La Rokeb, the Rokeb, Rochev, Rokeb, the Rokeb is the rider. The Rokeb is the rider. The Rokeb, the one who rides. So Solu, extol, in the sense of extol him, La Rokeb, the rider, Ba Rabot. So in the authorized version of the Bible translate, it says rideth, the rider, ride upon the skies. In the revised version, bringing out more the Hebraic sense, through the desert. The noun, where we have Arabot, Ba on Arabot, or Ba Arabot, right? What is the Arabot? The noun means fine dust, and is used for the thin layers, both of the clouds in the sky, but also the dust, even in the desert. So this likeness of the desert and the heavens right here in today's Psalm, Mizmor Samek Chet, Psalm 68, Hebraically here at the 5th verse, but corresponding to the King James Version, the 4th in the KJV, it will correspond to the 4th verse right there. But here, we have Solu la Rokeb, extol the rider, Ba Irabot, the rider on the thin layers, the fine dust, both the fine dust of the desert and the fine dust, the fine layers, thin layers of cloud in the sky. In Hebrew poetry, this Arabot idea here is has a usual meaning for the heavens, but more directly is connected with the deserts and the similarity of the thin layers of clouds in the sky, as well as the fine dust in the desert. So here, Shiru, sing, not chant Isis, but sing in the sense of sing. Remember, this psalm is a mizmor and it's a shir. Mizmor is a chant, Isis, and shir is a song. Lamnat Tzeyach Lid Dawid of David is both a Isis, mizmor, and it is a shir. And what is interesting is the verbs used right here. Sing to Elohim, shiru. This today's psalm, mizmor samek chet, is a shir. So here it says shiru. All of y'all, shiru, sing, le'Elohim, to Elohim, zamru, chant Isis, shemo. The translator translates as sing praises to his name, but in the Hebrew it's chant Isis, his name. In other words, his name is Isis. His name is a psalm, is a chant. Zamru, shemo, solu. Extol, y'all, la rokeb, for the rider, Ba Rabot, the rider upon the fine dust, the fine dust of the skies, the heavens, of the earth, as above, so below. But this is the line here, Revelation of Rastafari. By his name, right? We say, by his name, Jah. Here's the Hebrew. Be Yah, Shemo. Be Yah Shemo. And Yah, his name. And Yod Hey, his name. Be Yah Shemo. We're Ilzu Lifanayo. And exalt. Ilzu Lifanayo. And exalt y'all in his face, in his presence, before him. We're Ilzu Lifanayo. So here we have the Yah, the Hebrew Yah, the Jah, which says Be Yah Shemo, by his name, Jah, Be Yah. And here we have in today's psalm, Mizmor Samek Chet, and alluding to Shemot, Exodus chapter 15, verse 2, by the name Yah, Yah, the Savior name of called Yisrael, Yah, Be Yah Shemo. Here, Hebraically, the Wowway, Wow, the Vav. Here, the 6th verse, according to the Hebrew, corresponding to KJV. 5th verse, Abi Yitomim with Dayan Almano, Elohim be Meona Kadisho, a father of the fatherless. Abi Yitomim, a father of those like without father, a father of the fatherless. Abi Yitomim is orphans, so a father of orphans, a father. Abi Yitomim, with Dayan, Dan, Janhoy, Dayan, a judge with Dayan Almanot, and a judge of Almanot, of widows. Elohim, Bia Me'on, in Me'on, in the habitation. He is the one who is in the Me'on. He's in the Me'on, Bime'on, Kadisho, in his set apart, right? His holy, his set apart habitation. Abiya Yitomima with Dayan Almanot, Elohima Bime'ona Kadisho. Here. The 7th verse Hebraically, right? The Zion verse corresponding to KJV 6 verse. Elohim Moshiv Yechidima Baita Motzia Asrima Ba Kosharot Akasorima Shaknu Tzichicha. Elohim maketh the solitary to dwell in a house. Elohim Moshiv, to sit up, to dwell. Moshiv, one who sits up and dwell. Moshiv, Yechidim, Baita. Yechidim is like those who are alone, the lonely ones. Moshiv, right? Moshiv is like to dwell, but really one who causes to dwell, who causes one to sit up. So Elohim, Moshiv, Elohim maketh to dwell the Yechidim, those who are alone, Yechidim, or alone or only, in other words, Baita. The sense of it here in the Hebrew is like those who are alone, who are in a sense almost like homeless and alone. He directs them to the house. He makes them dwell in the house, but not just bite, but it's the Baita. You know, like if I'm saying to somebody in Hebrew, I'm on my way, like home, I would say more instead of saying bait, I'll say Baita, like I'm homeward, right? So bringing out that sense here. Elohim Moshiva Yechidim Baita Motzi Asarim Ba Kosharot. He bringeth out the prisoners, the Asarim, the Asarim, Asir, Osar, right? Asarim Ba Kosharot, to like in Kosharot, in prosperity, right? Kosharot. He bringeth out the prisoners, those who were Asarim, those who were bound, right? He Motzia. Motzi is the same sense like he causes them to exodus, the prisoners to exodus in prosperity. Ba kosharot, Motzi asarim ba kosharot, akazori shaknu tzichicha. The rebellious. The sense here is ak. Ak is interesting because some translation says but the rebellious. Ak. We're not saying as some might think it is, not knowing real Hebrew. The word for brother is ach, not ak. The word for brother in the Hebrew is ach. Ak is like an interjection, an expression that means for show, like no doubt about it. Ak. So whatever after it is affirmed, like certainly it's like this, for sure, truly, right? It brings out that, even though it has a verily sense in translation. So here it says ak, sori, almost like for sure, the rebellious, the sorim, the rebels, the sorim. Ak, sorim, shakanu. They will shakan, they will dwell, right? So there's certain words for dwelling, getting into the detail of different senses. It's like the sanctuary is called a mishkan, that sense of dwelling, right? And then one's referred to even the sense of the spirit dwelling in us, the shekinah or the shekinah within that sense. So the shakan sense to dwell. So here it's saying for sure, the rebellious, they will dwell tzechicha. Now, interesting about the word tzechicha, it means like someplace that's very dry. Even in the Hebrew, bringing out the word tzechicha. So even in saying it, it has kind of a sense of tzechicha. Even to enunciate it, it has an idea, a vibe of like you in a dry place, and you're trying to describe how dry you are. Tzechicha, right? So it has a sense. But what's interesting is the prophetic connection, since we have this Psalm 68. Princes shall come out of Egypt is definitely alluding to the incidences of the Exodus, both then and pointing to the revealed prophetic past and the prophetic future, present ad infinitum to come, and the connection of Ethiopia. This is what's interesting here in today's psalm. So even this here also applies, right, to the careless children of Israel and also the careless Ethiopians. The rebellious dwell, it says, but in a parched land, or in a dry land. So the change from where it says that Elohim maketh the lonely, the Yechidim, the ones who are like alone, to dwell in a house, and bringing out the Asarim, the prisoners, like causing the prisoners to exodus, Ba Kosharot, in Kosharot, in Kashar, Kosharot, Ba Kosharot, in prosperity. And then it says Ak, for sure. So while this happened, the translator thinking in the KJV, it says, but the rebellious dwell in a dry land. But, like on the other hand, this doesn't have the but sense. It has a sense of he bring us out the prisoners into prosperity. For sure, the rebellious are going to dwell in a parched condition. It doesn't say parched land, but the tzechiha is a very dry place. That's why even the enunciation of the sound kind of brings out that vibe there, Hebraically speaking. So here, let's just look at the King James in the Sefer Tehillim. Look at the King James, because I'm seeking to remember the Hebrew, mainly. So here, it says, God set us solitary in families. He brings us out. So he said, Beitah. Beitah is like a house, but a house sense, one could say, the connection with family. He brings us out those that are bound in chains. It's interesting because here, the word chains is not here in the Hebrew. So the Hebraic sense, Asirim is those who are Asir. Asir is like somebody who's bound. They don't have to be chained, but they bound. So bringing out those who are bound, like those who are bound, bringing them about free. But the literal sense of chains is not there. But it says, but the rebellious dwell in a dry. If you look at the King James Version, the translators at least italicize the word land. So it doesn't just mean that they dwell in a dry land, like we say famine, like in Ethiopia, right? We talk about the famine in Ethiopia. Right, you know what I'm saying? And that's a dry land, and we say because of Galas and creeping cool. That is one sense of it. That's like the overt sense. But the deeper sense is that it's not just a dry land. They dwell in the dry. You know, the dry. It's one thing to dwell in the dry land. I mean, look at those, those oil-rich, Middle Eastern or Arab nations. They might be in a dry land, but they can have all the luxuries because what it says that he brings us out here, it says the prisoners into prosperity. But look at the flip mode. But the rebellious, right, dwell in a dry land. So they translate here, but the rebellious. It should be for sure. So if we read it even in this sense, he bringeth out those which are bound with chains, or more better. This is so interesting. I'm looking at this here in the KJV. I'm looking at the Hebrew part right here. And when the Hebrew says motzi, asarim, ba kosharot, and the Hebrew sense is bringing out the prisoners to prosperity. Then I'm looking at KJV here, and it says, he bringeth out those which are bound with chains. I'm saying, this is what we've been used to, this version right here. But the more better sense is bringing out the prisoners to, the idea of prosperity is not there because there's a contrast here. I'm just zooming in here because there's a contrast here. There's a contrast, right, between what Elohim does for the solitary, right, the solitary, what he does for the prisoners or those, quote, bound with chains. But what they don't have here is that prosperity for those who formerly were bound, those who were bound with chains. And then the contrast, right now we're contrasting their situation or their condition with the rebellious, because it's clear the word koshara is prosperity, but in a plural sense. Get this here, the word koshara here in the 7th verse in the Hebrew corresponding with the 6th verse of the KJV. It's the part where in the KJV it says God setteth the solitary in families. It's the part here, he bringeth out those which are bound with chains. But there's something that's lost here when we look at the Hebrew. The Hebrew more better has, he bringeth out the prisoners to prosperity. Now the word koshara, right, is the H3574. In the Hebrew, this part is hareg, this part of the verse is motzia. Motzia sarima ba kosharot. Kosharot is the plural of koshara. Koshara. What is koshara? Some interpret koshara as prosperity. Koshara, in one sense, can be singing in a sense, but it's also in the plural sense, it's freedom. And koshara, right, it comes from the H3787, the kasher. And kasher in the biblical Hebrew means, it comes down to properly, to be straight or right. To be straight or right. The implication of the kasha root in ba kosharot and kashara is to be acceptable. Also, it's a sense of to succeed or to prosper.
right? To direct, to be right, and to prosper. And this is significant here in the first part and the opening verses of today's psalm, the advent of Elohim, of the Elohim of the Hebrews, and the effects and the affects. And prosperity needs to be emphasized. It says he brings out those who are bound in chains. Well, the Hebrew sums it up by saying the Asarim, are those who are Asir. You know, they are bound. So we get that idea. But here it says Motzi. He brings them out. He causes them to exit who? The Asarim, those who are bound, Bakasharot. In Ba, right? The Beit Essentia, Ba, in Kosharot, the plural, which is freedom. He brings them out freedom, but the freedom has a sense of not just freedom, but there is a prosperity idea that is lost, that is not brought out, right? To succeed, to please, to be suitable, to be proper, to be advantageous. They come out after being bound and being in a disadvantageous condition. They are now brought out into an advantageous condition. This is one of the advent when it says, let Elohim, may Elohim arise. Yakum Elohim, Yafutsu Oibayo, Yanusu, Yanusu, Nisanayo, Mipanayo, may Elohim arise, and may his enemies be scattered. Yakum Elohim, Yafutsu Oibayo, and make them that hate, the haters that hate him, flee before him. We Yanusu, Nisanayo, Mipanayo. Now, what is important about this opening verse, didn't touch on it earlier, but right here, so ones who are hearing, get this. This is the ancient watchword for Yisrael. The opening verses of today's psalm, Mizmor Samek Het, is the watchword, Yisrael's ancient watchword. We have an adaptation here, right, in Le David Mizmor Shir, in a psalm, a chant, Isis of David, a song. We have in the opening verse an adaptation from Bamidbar, right? The Sefer Bamidbar, Numbers chapter 10, verse 35. It's an adaptation of Yisrael's ancient watchword. Almost like a password, watchword, that watchword. And if you read and study Numbers chapter 10, verse 35, you'll see this is in connection with the movement of the Aron HaBrit, Ethiopiacally known as the Tabot, right? Tabot 2, the Ark of the covenant. So this is very, very important here. Elohim's victories, today's psalm, and just zooming in right here up to the Selah, but seeking to bring out the very important prosperity that gets lost in the KJV translation. The sense is, okay, he bringeth out those who are bound with chains, but he bringeth out the prisoners in prosperity. For sure, the rebellious dwell in the dry. They dwell in, let's look at this right here. They dwell in dry. They dwell in a dry. Not so much land. The word land is not there. At least the KJV put the italics, land in the italics. They dwell in the dry. It says man is a tripartite being, right? It's not just the dryness of the land and the natural and the physical that affects our body, but their spirit is dry. Their psyche, their soul, spiritually, they're dry. All right? The rebellious. So this contrast right here, right, with what Elohim, right, the good effects, and also for the rebellious, the adverse affects. That's the opening, we say the opening 6, 7 or so verses right here, Hebraically, right, verses 1 to, we're going to take the 1 to 8, corresponding with the KJV, 1 to 7, right here. Here we have the Het verse, right, Hebraically, the 8th verse, but in the King James Version, it goes along with what you have as the 7th verse. Elohim, be eteka lifnei ameka, be aideka, dia Shimon Selah. O Elohim, when thou wentest forth before thy people. Now, when it says when thou wentest forth, Hebraically, these are the words connected with the idea of Exodus. Elohim b'tzeatika or tzeatika, in the more the older b'tzeatika, coming out. Elohim b'tzeatika, lifnei, before, in the face, in the presence, ameka, of the eye, male people. B'tzeidika, when the I did march, right? The Sa'ad, like taking that, almost like the military steps. The military steps. Now, this here opens the next portion of today's song, corresponds to KJV verses 7 to 18, Hebraically verses 8 to 19. The past, right, is reviewed with this particular verse right here, up to the Selah. Elohim bid eiteka lifnei ameka bid eiteka be Shimon, be Shimon, be Shimon. Here translates as through the desert. Oh, Elohim, when thou wentest forth before thy people, when thou didst march, did trod, what is a sa'ad, did trod in the I trod, in the I march, right? The march of the black man, the march of Ethiopia on the march. Remember that historical? In his times he shall shew who is the blessed and the only potentate, the Lord of Lords, the King of Kings, conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. Remember that video with the march? So this idea of the march, right? The march, when thou didst march, right, through the wilderness. Now take note of the Yeshimon. There's the Yeshimon. Yeshimon. Here, the word for wilderness is not the usual used elsewhere in the Torah, the Midbar, Bamidbar, but here we have the Yeshimon. Yeshimon, be Shimon. And then this brings us here to the Selah. When thou wentest forth to guide your people through the trackless wilderness. In the wilderness, there were no steps. So he guides us in a way where there's no way. This brings out the actual experiential sense of it with the Bnei Yisrael. He guided your people through the trackless wilderness in a what? Pillar of cloud by day, right? And a pillar of fire by night. We have this in Shemot in Exodus chapter 13, verse 21. And then it brings us to the Selah. The Selah. The Selah is not inserted to mark the end so much of a section. Sometimes people might think it marks the end of a section, but it's to create an impressive pause in that while the music, the Isis, right, the chant, the music, the dove, we can say, while the music played, the worshippers, they could idetate. They iditated upon this, even this tremendous fact. Yes, I, Rastafari. This right here, this is the true fact. True fact. למנצח לדוד מזמור שיר. יקום אלוהים יפוצו עביה, וינוסוע מסניו מפניו. כהינדוף עשן תינדוף, כהימסה דונגה מפני אש. יאבדו רשעים מפני אלוהים, וצדיקים ישמחו, יעלצו לפני אלוהים, וישישו בשמחה. שירו לאלוהים, זמרו שמו. Solua la rokeba ba'rabota. The ya shemoa we ilazoa lifanayo. Abia yitomima we dayan almanota. Elohima bia meona kadisho. Elohima moshiba yechidima baitah. Mozia sarima ba kosharota. Akasorima shaknua zechicha. Elohim, b'tzadeka lifnei ameka, b'tzadeka bi Shimon, Selah, 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 Selah.
Let God arise, let his enemies be scattered. Let them also that hate him flee before him. As smoke is driven away, so drive them away. As wax melteth before the fire, so let the wicked perish at the presence of God. But let the righteous be glad. Let them rejoice before God. Yea, let them exceedingly rejoice. Sing unto God, sing praises to his name. Extol him that rideth upon the heavens by his name, Yah, 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 and rejoice before him. A father of the fatherless, and a judge of the widows is God in his holy habitation. God setteth the solitary in families. He bringeth out those which are bound with chains, but the rebellious dwell in a dry land.
Fikr Shah, Salam, Om.
Anubia Hierarchy, Jah Royal Creed, Haile Selassie I Nassanet, and all Jah tribe of Judah investors. Jah eternal seal of Jah imperial majesty of Anubia shall bear witness to all private and foreign matters of Anubia business agreements. Only Jah tribe of Judah investors, named and chosen by Haile Selassie I Nassanet, shall I seize any of Jah Kebra Nagas royalty, which shall be administered by Haile Selassie I Nassanet. May Jah Rastafari continually bless I and I.
Afeke Rashal, Jah, Haile Selassie I Nassanet.
Kadamawi. Selassie.
The whole place is due for help.
Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel, O children of Israel?
It's time for Israel to praise their King, Almighty Elohim. We know that the times are changing. People don't lose their spiritual way. It's time for Israel to praise their King. Knowing Yahweh is His name. Conquer evil and know Him while we're living this way. Living this way. Deliver us from our enemies. Oh, Elohim will sit between the cherubim. Your praises is high in Zion high. Israel can't be denied. It's time for Israel to have their King. Knowing Yahweh is His name. Come on, people, let's show Him. If your voice is sing in Yahshua's name. Yeah. Oh gosh, now, yeah. It's time for the people to love themselves and repent from their dirty ways. Come on, my people, and show Him. Lift your voices and sing in Yahshua's name. Aye. Yeah. Israel praise His holy name. Oh, righteous people now, yeah. Give His holy name the praise. It's time for Israel to hail their King. Knowing Yahweh is His name. Come on, my people, and show Him with your voices and sing. Praise His name. Oh yeah. Aye. It's time for Israel to hail their King. Knowing Yahweh is His name. Come on, people, let's show Him. If your voices and sing in Yahshua's name.
ያይንን አየነው፣ የሰማንን አወቅነው፣ የዳሰሰንን አገኘነው። የአብርሃምን አምላክ የሚያየንን ጌታ ኤልሮሂምን Elohim, 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 Elohim.
Man that is blind, all he needs to do is follow the spirit which is legit. That is how we'll all grow. Know him, Elohim. Man that is blind, all he needs to do is follow. Man that is blind, man that is blind. Man that is blind, all he needs to do is follow the spirit which is legit. That is how we'll all grow. Adonai.
Rastafari. And here, Midrash, today's psalm, Mizmor Samek Chet, Mizmor Samek Het, Psalm 68, Psalm LXVIII. Lanatseach lid David, Mizmor Shir. Yakum Elohim, Yafutsoi Bayo, Yanuso Mesanayo Mipanayo, for the leader, La Menatseach, for the overcomer, La Menatseach, for the chief musician, the musical chief, musical director, La Menatseach lid David. Of David, lid David, Mizmor, a chant, Isis. Of David, lit David Mizmor, Shir, a song, Shir, a song. Lanatseach, lit David Mizmor, Shir. Yakum Elohim, Yafutsu Oibayo. Make Elohim, make God, make the power arise. Yakum Elohim, Yafutsu Oibayo. Make his enemies Oibayo. Yafutsu, be scattered, make them be scattered. Yakum Elohim, Yafutsu, Oibayo. Zehu Shamar HaKatub. These words are to be considered in the light of what Scripture says elsewhere. Zehu Shamar HaKatub. Bekum Rishayim, Yisatir Adam, Uvadam, Be'adam, Be'abdam. Yerbu Tzadikim, when the wicked, the ratchet, when the Rishaim, when the wicked rise, men hide themselves. Bekom Rishaim, Satir Adam, when the Rishaim, the ratchet, defiant, the ratchet men, wicked men rise. Bekom Rishaim, in rising the ratchet, Yisatir Adam, Yisatir, Adam hides. When the Rishaim, the ratchet, rise, Adam hides. Bekum Rishaim, Yisatir Adam. But when they perish, Uv Avadam, Uba'abadam, Ube'abadam, when they perish, Uba'abadam, Yerubu Tzadikim. Yerubu, Tzadikim, Yerubu, get enough, increase, enough, Yerubu, Tzadikim, the righteous ones, Yerubu, the righteous increase. Bekum Rishaim, Yisatir Adam, Ubabdam, Yerubu, Tzadikim, when the wicked rise, men, Adam, Yisatir Adam hide. But when they perish, Uba Abadam, when they perish, the righteous increase, the righteous. Yerubu Tzadikim. How so? Because it is through the Rishaim, the ratchet ones, the defiant ones, it's through the wicked that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that the Holy One, blessed be He, punishes Ha-Tzadikim, the righteous ones. When the Rishaim, the ratchet, rule, the Tzadikim, the righteous, cannot lift up their heads nor open their mouths. When the Rishaim, the ratchet, perish, the righteous increase. Uba Abadam, Yerubu Tzadikim. Hence, here it is said, even in the Mishlei of Shlomo, the Mashal, Proverbs 28 and 28, when the wicked rise,
men hide themselves. But when they perish, the righteous increase. Bikum Rishaim Yisatir Adam Uba Abadam Yerabo Sadikim. So too when Deborah said, even in Shoftim and Judges 5:31, Deborah said, so perish all thine enemies, O Lord, but they that love him be as the sun when he goeth forth in his might. Ken ovdu kol veka Adonai ve'o havayo kutzeta hashemesh via gvorato via tishkota hareta arba'im shana. Full of verse here from Judges chapter 5 verse 31. Deborah said, so make all thine enemies perish, O Lord, but let them that love him be as the sun when he goeth forth in his might. And the land had rest 40 years. Came, Obadu, Koloi Beka Yahuwah, we or Habayo, Kseta Shemesh, Bi Guburato, Wa Tishkota Hareta Arbaim Shana. And Deborah said, and Deborah said, Cain, so, Obadu, let them perish. Call all, Oibeka, all the male enemies. Call Oibeka, Yahuwah, O Jehovah, with Ohbayo, and those who love him with and Ohbayo, Kseit, as the going Hashemesh, the sun, be Goborato, in the eye Gobura, in the eye might. Cain, Obadu kola Oibekayahuwa, we Ohbayo, Kseta Hashemesh be Goborato. She meant that when the wicked, the Rishaim, when the ratchet, the defiant perish, at once, we Ohbayo, Kseta Hashemesh be Goborato. At once, they that love him, Ohbayo, are as the sun when he goeth forth, when he goeth forward, when he exodus. Kseit Hashemesh, as the sun when he goeth forward, be Gvrato, in his Gabura, in his might. So too, David said, even in the 39th Psalm, Hebraically the second verse, Psalm 39, the Hebrew second verse, I will keep a curb upon my mouth while the wicked, the ratchet is before me, is before I. Eshmerah lefi machsom, be'od rasha le'negdi. I will guard, I will keep a muzzle on my mouth. Eshmerah, I will keep lefi for my fee, my thigh, my mouth. Machsom, a muzzle, a curb upon my mouth. Be'od rasha le'negdi. While the wicked, be'od rasha, while the ratchet, le'negdi, is before me, is opposite, is opposed to me. Eshmerah lefi machsom, be'od rasha le'negdi. From this verse, here, 39th Psalm, he breaks the second verse. From this verse, it follows that the righteous, the tzaddikim, can neither open their mouths nor raise their heads in the presence of the wicked, in the presence of the ratchet. David, the well-beloved, pleaded, deal with these as thou hast dealt with former enemies. David pleaded, deal with these as thou, the eye, has dealt with former enemies. Even as Moshe, as Robenu Moshe, as Moses prayed to thee, to the eye, even Bamidbar in Numbers chapter 10, verse 35. Rise up, O Jehovah, and make thine enemies be scattered. And here, Bamidbar in the wilderness, the Hebrew book, Bamidbar, here in Numbers chapter 10, here, verse 35. Vayehi, Bia Nitsoah Ha'aron, Wayomer Moshe, Kumah Yahuwah, We Yafutsu Oibeka. And it came to pass, Vayehi, when the ark set forward, went forward the ark, Bia Nisoah, Wayehi Bia Nisoah Ha'aron, when the ark Ha'aron set forward, Wayomer Moshe, that Moshe said, Kumah Yahuwah, rise up, O he who be, Kumah Yahuwah, rise up, O Jehovah, where Yafutsu Oibeka, and make thine enemies be scattered. Where Yafutsu Oibeka, where Yanusu Misaneka Mipaneka, and make them that hate thee, male, flee before thee. Where Yanusu Misaneka Mipaneka. So I, Dawid, said, so I pray thee, to scatter these, as here in today's psalm, Mizmor Samek Chet, Psalm 68, here, Hebraically, the second verse, that reads, Yakum Elohim, Yafutsu Oi Bayo, we Yanusu Mitsan Ayo, Mitpanayo, make Elohim the power arise. Yakum Elohim, make his enemies be scattered. Yafutsu Oi Bayo, and make them that hate him flee before him. With Yanuso Misanayo Mipanayo. When Zophar the Naamathite said, even in Job 11 and 20, but the eyes of the wicked, the righteous, shall fail, and they shall have no way to flee. When Zophar the Naamathite said in Job 11 and 20, but the eyes of the wicked shall fail, and they shall have no way to flee. V'ainai rishayim tikhlena, or manosa avada minahem, v'tikavatam mapach nafesh. Here, full of verse. But the eyes of the wicked, the righteous, shall fail, and them shall have no way to flee, and their hope shall be the drooping of the soul. But the eyes of the Rishaim, the ratchet ones, shall fail. And they shall have no way to flee. Umanos abad minahem. And their hope, their tikvatam, with tikwatam, and their tikwatam, and their hope, with tikwatam, v'tikvatam, with tikwatam, mapach nafesh, shall be as the drooping of the soul, or here in the Hebrew, the mapach nafesh, in the Hebrew is literally the breathing out, the mapach nafesh, the breathing out, an expression of grief, mapach nafesh, the expression of grief, as in Yeremiah, in Jeremiah chapter 15, verse 9, her spirit droopeth, her spirit breatheth out. Ve'ainai rishayim tikhlena, umanosa bada minahem, ve'tikwatam mapach nafesh. Zophar, the Naamathite, he meant that when the Rishayim, the ratchet ones, the defiant ones, have nowhere a refuge, for wherever they flee, their hope, tikwatam, shall be a puff of breath, shall be mapach nafesh, shall be breath of the soul, breath from the soul, a puff of breath. With tikwatam mapach nafesh. Of them, Jeremiah also said, even in Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 11, these shall perish from the earth and from under the heavens, 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 the heavens. Kidna temruna lahom el haya dia shemaya we arka la evadu ye vadua meya ara uamina techota shemaya ile. This verse here, Aramaic. This verse here in Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 11. Kia dena temruna lahom elahaya dia shemaya we arka la evadua yevadua me ara uamina techota shemaya ele. Thus shall ye y'all say to them. Thus shall ye y'all say to them. Kia dena temruna lahum. The gods that have not made the heavens and the earth, them shall perish from the earth and from under the heavens. Elahaya dia shemaya we arka la evadu aye badu me ara uamina techota shemaya ele. Jeremiah said, these shall perish from the earth and from under the heavens. These shall perish. Elahaya di shemaya we arka la evadua ye badu me ara umin techot shemaya ele. Hence, here, even today's psalm, Mizmor Samek Chet, Psalm 68, it is said, let God, the power, make the power arise, make his enemies be scattered. Yakum Elohim, Yafutso Oibayo, Yakum Elohim, make Elohim Yakum arise, Yakum Elohim, Yafutso Oibayo, and make Oibayo, his enemies, Yafutsu, Yakum Elohim, Yafutsu Oibayo, we Yanusua Misanayo, Mipanayo, 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 Mipanayo.
Of only vanity and no love for humanity shall fade away, fade away. He who checks for only wealth and not for his physical health shall fade away, fade away. So some believe in diamonds and pearls and feel like they're on top of the world, they shall fade away. Hear what I say? The rich is getting richer every day, and the little that the poor man got, it shall be taken away. Do you hear what I say? Yeah, hear what I say? The man who worships silver and gold shall surely, surely, surely lose his own soul, then fade away. One who's always acting smart and don't carry no love in his heart shall fade away. God is there and everywhere, and he knows when you play the game unfair. So people beware, or else you fade away. Hey, beware, or then you fade away. You gotta fade, gotta fade, gotta fade now. rich is getting richer every day. And the little that the poor man got, it shall be taken away. Do you hear what I say? Hey, hear what I say? One who's always acting smart and forgetting to carry love in his heart shall fade away. God is here and there and everywhere, and his eyes are watching you. You're gonna fade away, yeah, yeah, gonna fade, 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 fade away. Fade away, yeah, yeah. Brother, what you done?
Black man, you got to believe yourself, or you may just kick off the shelf. And you got no one to blame but yourself, not the dread, y'all. Yeah.
You speak of only vanity and no love for humanity.
Roots, man, you got to forward on, I tell you. Yeah. Forward on, roots, man, forward on. Yeah, from dusk until dawn. Come on down and blow your horn and pop your corn, I tell you. Only the strong survive, as the man said. And only the fittest have the fittest shall stand in this judgment. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you words are passing free. That's why you got to join this jubilee. I tell you, come on down there with me.
And the little that the poor man got, it shall be taken away.
If you got your money in your pocket, and roots, man, I know it can keep it, but you can lock it down, yeah. But I'm passing DMT, I'm gonna spin down on the street, yeah. You don't see the dragon put it back behind and put it forward, yeah. But so you see that's how it is, yeah. Kinda authentic revolutionary. Man moving around like mercenary, y'all. Killing each and every day. That's what the brother got to say. No way to run and hide. You kinda got to move with that tide, I tell you. You gotta keep up the stride, I tell you, yeah. We don't live in the ghetto. Forward on, black man, forward on. Yeah. Ain't no sunshine when the king power ain't around. So roots, man, you gotta be around and keep on moving around to this town. Yeah.
The rich is getting richer every day.
Some are kinda sleeping on the couch and some are getting really fine. But I see if you don't live above your means, then you'll be around to teach in the scene. Yeah. I'm black man, you got to know yourself. Or maybe you're gonna get kicked off the shelf, y'all. Black man, you got to know yourself. Or you may get kicked off the shelf until you got no one to blame but yourself. Yeah.
It don't fade away, yeah, yeah. Fade, 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 fade.
Away. Be Black man, you got to walk on the floor.
Give thanks for listening to Discipleship Radio Lion of Judah Society. Shalom, friends. תודה על ההאזנה לרדיו תלמידי אריה יהודה. שלום, חברים.
Shalom, shalom, חברים, shalom.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.